Welcome to World Class Bullshitters, the epitome of pop culture. I'm your host, Jeff Hicks, and with me tonight is the last standing Samoan, Nick Udom.
Okay, religions and ancient weapons are no match for a good blaster at your side.
And finally, Mr. Curtis Lindenfield.
So I forced my wife to give me head last night, and it'd been a while since we'd done it, so I had quite a big load. And I blew so hard, I blew so fucking hard that they canceled an Ariana Grande concert.
Oh my god. Wow, alright.
That was the best joke I've heard about that all week.
Thank you.
That's crazy. I was watching something on TV and they cut right into that, and I was like, oh, that's terrible.
Terrible that it wasn't during the performance.
I've always wondered, like, I'm not saying these are, like, pre-planned or anything, but you ever wonder why, like, none of these people do it during, like, during the show when there's the most people there and shit? Are they, like, do they want to watch one more performance before they do it, or...
Yeah, it's funny. Terrorist attacks. How many actually government officials have ever died from a terrorist attack?
That's true.
Illuminati.
We'll come back with our new show, World Class Bullshitters After Dark. But tonight, we're going to discuss arguably the most important film in history. It's a movie that changed the world. Its appeal crosses culture, status, and generations. That film is Cool Runnings. But before we get into that, let's give a shout out to the listener of the week. And yes, I did say Cool Runnings. We're talking about fucking Star Wars, okay? If you can't tell by the image, today is the 40th anniversary of Star Wars. It's a big deal. It makes me personally feel old because I remember getting excited for the 20th anniversary. So I don't know how the other people out there feel, but we're going to get into all that good shit in a second. But shout out to the listener of the week is WinWhisper0234. Great guy, great comments. I don't know if he's a newer listener or what, but I've been entertained by reading his comments. And speaking of comments, we have so many new listeners and subscribers that the comments are kind of getting crazy. So if you have something really important that you want to tell me or the rest of the guys, just shoot us an email at worldclassbs@mail.com. The best mail.
.com.
And we will respond in suit. Now, news is great, but we have a piece of news that's relevant to us and to you. So as of now, we will be launching the official World Class Bullshitters Patreon page. And we're going to use that to essentially help the channel grow. It's not about, making us personally rich. It's about creating better content and more content. I mean, within the near future, I'd like a worldclassbullshitters.com website that hosts all kinds of crazy stuff. Podcasts I listen to, if you Google them, their episodes appear in Google and you can play them directly through Google. So I'd like to get all that shit for us. And we got a lot of great listeners, so I know you guys would like that stuff too. But I'm not trying to just have you give us money and then get that in return. No, we have a whole bunch of perks for you guys. And I think they're exciting. So, Curtis, should I go ahead and read some of them?
Go ahead.
All right, so for $1, which is the same
$1 a month, right? We're talking the recurring payment. You just give us $1 a month. That's, what, $12 a year?
Yeah, that's cheaper than Netflix. You're going to help us keep the channel going, and you're also going to get a special thank you on our Patreon video that we put out each month. For $5 a month, you're going to get the special thank you and a digital copy of a World Class Bullshitters poster. And by that, you can head over to incarnate-studios.com, and you can see all the artwork we offer and more. And you can pick a digital poster that will be sent to you each month. So it'll be a thank you from me. You can go to your local FedEx, print it out. You can print it out at your house, whatever. And you'll have a cool original piece of artwork that you can't get anywhere else. For $10 a month, you'll get the first two things as well. And now this is where it gets really good. You get to pick a topic of your choice to be discussed each month on World Class Bullshitters. So when the Patreon grows, what we're going to do is we're going to give a special portion of each episode to you, the listener, and we'll discuss whatever you want. And it can be anything. Seriously, it could be, I don't know, gardening or some dumb shit, and we'll discuss it. So if you want to help us out, if you want to troll us, donate the $10 a month and you get to pick a topic. So for $15 a month, you're going to get the thank you, a physical copy of a poster, and you get to choose 2 topics each month, as well as a special invitation to appear on a drunk commentary on the World Class Bullshitters channel. And you don't have to be drunk, but you can. It's a lot more fun. We're a lot more tolerable that way. So that's a bonus. And we're going to do all kinds of great movies. We're going to try to start building up a drunk commentary list, and you could contribute to that. You can be a part of World Class Bullshitters history. For the 20, you're going to get everything I said, plus we're going to make you a special video where we plug anything you want. So if you're a small upstart company and you'd like a little bit of advertising done, you know, and you donate to the Patreon, we will make an advertisement for you. And you know Curtis Lindenfield is a genius at advertising. I mean, he created the slogan, "Give us your fucking money." So there you go. But we're also going to have you appear on a World Class Bullshitters video that may or may not be a drunk commentary. So you may be able to appear on an episode like this. That's exciting.
You're going to let these people onto our show?
Yeah, I am. I'm crazy like that. Plus, you know, without them, there wouldn't be as many people listening. We may not be as motivated. So, you know, they're as big a part as we are. So it's a special thank you, and it's like a big appreciation thing.
And that's only $20 a month?
Yeah, only $20 a month. That's $5 a week. I mean, that's like one Starbucks coffee a week or something, you know? I know you didn't get your, what was that? Your rainbow frappuccino, the unicorn frappuccino. I know they're gone. Frappuccino. And if there's a hole in your life from where the unicorn frappuccino was, just go to Patreon, patreon.com/worldclassbs, and, you know, give us the money, and you'll get something better than a unicorn frappuccino, because you won't get diabetes when you subscribe to that. You just get great entertainment and a bunch of great perks.
Let us fill your hole.
Yeah, let us. There is a lot of world-class bullshitters to go around. We want to fill you so good and deep. We know you'll like it. Even if you say no at first, we'll make you say yes. And finally, there is a mega super uni-hyper Gepper bomb level of donation. It's the $25 a month. You get everything we've said, plus you get an exclusive World-Class Bullshitters t-shirt. I'm going to start working on the design soon, and I'm actually going to let you guys pick which shirt you want. So make sure you're subscribed to the Facebook page, and you follow us on Twitter, because we will have those shirts out soon.
Correct me if I'm wrong. For $25, just $25, they not only get a thank you shout-out, they get a poster. They get to pick 2 topics for us to talk about. They get to appear on the show, and they get their own fucking custom hand-picked t-shirt.
Yes, and actually, I misspoke. When you donate the $25 or $20 amount, you get a topic each week. So it's not each week. Basically, for the $5 you go up, you get to contribute more to the show. So, you know, if you want us to talk about Ninja Turtles for 4 weeks straight, join the $20 a month tier, and you're going to get a Ninja Turtles podcast on this show. So, you guys have the power.
It's madness.
Wait, aren't we supposed to shoot the WCBS romper calendar this year, or for next year, I should say?
Shh, that's a secret. Once we have their addresses, we're just going to randomly send them pictures of ourselves. That would almost deter me.
And if our great, amazing sales pitch didn't do it for you, like Jeff said before, just give us your fucking money. I mean, really,
yeah.
just give us your fucking money.
All right, so now let's talk about.
You guys are great fans. The show is getting big. You saw last week 4 or 5 videos coming out from Jeff, and that shit costs time, money, resources, energy. We're doing this to keep the channel growing, as you're going to read in the Patreon description. This channel is dedicated to reminding the entertainment industry who they're accountable to, and it's to us. It's not the vocal minority. It's not to all the idiots out there that cry when they don't like. So it's for us. And with you guys helping us out in any way you can, even if it's just $1, help us grow so we can hopefully make a dent in entertainment and steer it in the direction that you guys deserve to have it go in.
Very good. I have nothing else to add.
Nope.
So how about the news?
Yeah, let's talk about some news. You want to take it over to the news desk, Mr. Lindenfield?
I'm here waiting for you guys.
All right, let's get it rolling.
So Arnold Schwarzenegger will be back for the next reboot of the Terminator franchise that James Cameron is doing. What do you guys think?
Why? Why more? Like the Terminator Genesis didn't do very well, and I'm tired of expanding franchises and all that other bullshit. Just let it die and come up with something new.
This is as depressing as it is funny. Because it's like Arnold Schwarzenegger's a 65-year-old man. He's the great American story. You know, you come to America, you work hard, you make it big. Got nothing but respect for the dude, but bow out. You know, you can't play a convincing killer robot anymore. You haven't been able to for like 20 years. I don't even consider T3 a good movie.
No.
No, absolutely not. The only good thing about T3 was that final scene with all the nukes launching and just that beautiful imagery. But besides that, shit, it completely ruined the whole message number 2.
Yeah. I got real turned on when most of the world died as well. So yeah, that was good.
Salvation. I like Christian Bale, and I like the concept of it. Like, let's actually see Skynet at war, but the execution was shit, garbage.
Yeah, it was.
And then
Never seen that movie.
No, it's a movie. And then Genesis, like Nick was pointing out, that was just, I made it halfway through and I shut it off. And T2
Well, here's the thing. Okay, I'm looking at Bucko's Mojo right now. Terminator Genesis domestic gross was 89 million. Foreign was 350 million. Total was 440 million.
I saw that in theaters too. I regretted it.
Phil queefing on camera for an hour and a half would draw more money than that.
If we can draw $83 million in our Patreon, I guarantee you we'll get videos of Phil queefing. All right, listeners? You just gotta want it. We can make anything happen.
With enough money, anything is possible.
That is true. You can throw money at any problem and it will go away.
That's true. Yeah. And I mean, Terminator didn't even reach rank 1. The highest it reached the first week it came out was rank 5.
Jesus.
Yeah.
That's a dead franchise, if you ask me.
Oh, yeah.
No, and James Cameron, he's so fucking self-indulgent. He's so self-masturbatory. What, somebody's comment I saw, they go, oh, he's going to be making the new Terminator movie? Does that mean Avatar's getting pushed back to the year 2100? Like...
Well, I mean, like, I think Universal or Disney have invested in making one of their parks, like that fucking movie, and there haven't been any more movies since the first one. And you're pretty much, carving out this piece of an amusement park to be this world, and people have only seen it once, and it made $1 billion. Cool, but do you really want to go to a park that's of that shit? Come on.
Well, here's the difference between Avatar and a Star Wars making the same kind of money. Star Wars permeates culture. Avatar is just there for a few minutes.
Yeah.
Like, if you really want to see the impact of a film, see how long the merchandise sticks around. And I'm not trying to be, too cynical about it, but Star Wars toys have lasted way longer than the films have. I mean, we've had 7 films. They have made Star Wars toys, with the exception from 85 to 95, the entire time of Star Wars. So 30 of the 40 years, Star Wars toys have been in constant production. Not saying they've always been good, but it just goes to show you the impact that Star Wars had on culture. Avatar toys were in the fucking bargain bin within a few weeks. Like, I remember seeing Jake Sully action figures for super cheap. No one wanted that shit.
I've never seen anyone wear, like, an Avatar t-shirt, an Avatar hat. I've never heard anyone actually quote Avatar. Can either of you guys think of an actual line from Avatar?
I know one word from the movie: unobtainium.
That's
I'm not being funny.
So think about it. Think about the actual cultural impact of Avatar. It was big because that was the next rebirth of 3D, right? Every 20 years, 3D comes back, and fucking there's nothing. That movie didn't last. The only reason we're talking about it is because fucking James Cameron keeps talking about it. He has been talking about it since 2009, and there's like 75,000 sequels coming out. It's ridiculous.
Would you like to hear something heartbreaking?
Yes. I
know a guy, and, well, they're a married couple. They named their kid after the girl from Avatar, Neytiri or something like that. Yeah, so...
Do they both have neck beards?
Well, if a woman could grow a beard, she would have one.
Okay, well, apparently the budget for the first one, $237 million.
That's a big budget.
Okay, and also, almost 75% of the money, the gross from that movie, the money it made was overseas. It made $2 billion overseas and made $760 million US.
Wow.
Didn't The Force Awakens make $900 million domestically?
Force Awakens. Let me look at that.
Meanwhile, where you're looking up facts, let me spit out some truth. Avatar fucking sucks, and if you like it, go kill yourself.
Watch what you say, because I got a lot of hate for saying Superman Returns is the worst superhero movie. But I'm with you. Bring on the hate. Fuck them. Avatar sucks.
Yeah, actually, well, it's a little bit more divided. Domestic is 45% and foreign is 54%. Domestic is 936 million. Foreign is 1.1 billion.
Well, I think when you get with Star Wars has always appealed to every nationality, because it's not really a story of America. It's a story of good versus evil, and every culture has a good versus evil tale. So that's why.
It's that monument. It's that hero of 1,000 faces or whatever. It's a story that we can all relate to. It has an amazing pattern of good struggles, overcomes but not quite. Then they lose, then they come back. That's the perfect formula for a story, and that's Star Wars. You
can't make movies like that anymore because they don't make movies like that anymore.
No, they don't. They're not going to.
They choose not to.
Yeah, exactly. They choose to go with something that's already ingrained in society, not like comic books or a franchise that died 20 years ago or anything like that. So they choose to do that, something that's safe, something that's going to guarantee them money. They don't want to do anything that's that's new and fresh and shiny. They want the old stuff that is guaranteed to bring in money. They don't want to gamble on something that might make money.
Personally, what I'd do if I was a studio, instead of sinking $200 million into another franchise that's just kind of okay performance-wise, I'm not talking personal opinion. I'm saying what came out recently that King Arthur was a flop, but that had a big budget. I would have rather made 10 smaller films, and then you never know what could happen in that 10 with those 10 smaller films, and they don't have to be 10 small indie bullshit. What's it call it?
Art house
Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist bullshit. They could be just 10 small budgeted action films or dramas or something.
Also, here's the thing with a lot of these movies that are coming out and going to come out. There's always a propensity of these directors and the company to be like, okay, this is the first one of a franchise. It's no, Star Wars was only going to be one movie. It was only one movie. They never had, as far as I know, they never had the ambition to do 2 or 3 part 2 or 3.
Well, the way it works is George Lucas has always claimed he had this epic story, and you really can't go with what George Lucas says because it changes from interview to interview. But from what I've can surmise, and I guess what I believe, is that he had planned to make 3, and that's why he made the deal he did with 20th Century Fox. It's hey, I don't care about money on this first one, but I want the rights to make the sequel and the merchandise. And that's what they agreed on, and that's why he's, had made $32 billion, and he's given it away over his lifetime and shit.
But even then, Star Wars, just watching it recently, 2 hours ago, as a standalone film is good. You have a beginning, middle, and end, and literally the movie is self-contained. You really don't need any more.
And that's why it's my favorite one. That's why I always harp on this one being the best one for me, because it's done.
Yeah, and I mean that's what a lot of these studios and filmmakers are forgetting, is that make the first one, or at least one, a good one. Make a complete story, cover up all the bases. If you want to leave a little mystery here and there with some small dialogue, that's fine. But the majority of stuff, it has to be good.
Well, like they did with Darth Vader, they just let him get away. That's the only backdoor to a sequel they left in the entire film. Everyone else is dead.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, and I mean, the Clone Wars is mentioned, in passing dialogue. Obi-Wan helping Leia's father is dialogue. All this is dialogue. That's all it is. There's no flashback scenes or pictures or anything like that. It's just all dialogue.
And that's why I love it, man.
Yeah, it's simple. It's simple.
Yeah, that's why we can't. Everything's so convoluted. Even video games are too convoluted. It's what's going to be part of a bigger narrative?
All right. Okay, just to put this in perspective, the first Star Wars was made for $11 million, with an M, $11 million.
And I mean, originally it had a smaller budget of $8,500,000.
Yeah,
but I think they needed to bump up the second unit and shit, and then boom, it bumped up the budget. But all the money's on the screen too.
Oh God, yes.
Harrison Ford made $10,000 for this movie.
Good investment though, because I just saw an article recently that says he's the highest paid actor of all time.
I don't want to kiss a celebrity's ass, but deservedly so, because that dude always brings it to a
Oh,
degree.
yeah.
I mean, even in Indiana Jones 4, which is a terrible movie, at least he took it seriously. Like, he's not the problem.
Yeah, neither is
else in the
Shia
world.
LaBeouf.
The problem is George Lucas. Okay, it's the CGI. It's just a bad story. It's not a good movie.
Speaking of movies that most people don't like, remember Suicide Squad?
Sadly.
Oh God.
Well, David Ayer, the director of Suicide Squad, supposedly is going to be the one who takes over the Scarface reboot.
Ugh.
Once again, doesn't need to be rebooted. It's perfect. Why fuck with it?
Money.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Here's the thing, though. They're gonna kill off. Okay, so Scarface is a remake as it is, but it's like a mythical film.
True. I mean, and it was, but like, okay, it's a remake the same way the Thing is a remake.
Oh no, I understand that, and I just don't want the people in the comments to say, "Well, Scarface is a remake. How can you shit on a remake of a remake, which is a remake?" It's like, fuck off, dude. Okay. First off, Tony Montana, played by Al Pacino, is so iconic and classic. Diego Luna's a cunt. I don't care how much you like Rogue One. I like Rogue One. He's just a weak man. Tony Montana is played by Al Pacino as a dude with balls. You can't portray that kind of character because everyone gets offended so easily. So all you're going to do is make a watered-down milquetoast Kmart Tony Montana. And you're just going to hurt the brand, like Ghostbusters. Last year, you made a big stink about that female Ghostbusters movie. How come I go to the toy store, as an adult anyway, but how come I go there and see the old Ghostbusters, the guys, all their shit sells out, and they keep getting new waves of new figures. Like, they got Vigo the Carpathian coming out. All these things sell. But the fucking first wave of the women are still there. I see a Melissa McCarthy figure every time I go to that store.
Uncle Vigo's getting a figure?
Yeah, I'll send you the link later.
Oh, God, yes, please.
Is
that a Richard Linklater?
I want to kick you in the balls for that joke.
If I could reach my own balls, I would.
Oh, damn.
So last week we talked a little bit about the monster universe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I guess they're branding that as the quote-unquote dark universe. And they announced this past week that not only, Tom Cruise is part of that universe, Russell Crowe as Dr. Jekyll, excuse me, Johnny Depp is going to be in the movie, or in the universe, as the Invisible Man. And one of my favorite actors, Javier Bardem, is actually playing Frankenstein's monster. So I'm still not going to see any of these movies. I think they're all stupid and whatever, but Javier Bardem might get me to check it out.
You mean Javier Bardem Morgan, the greatest actor of all time? You love him in Watchmen, you love him in No Country for Old Men, you love him in The Walking Dead, and now Pirates of the Caribbean? That guy's in everything. All joking aside, it's uncanny how similar those two actors look.
Oh, God, it is.
It's almost like if I was Jeffrey Dean Morgan instead of Jeff Hicks, I would attempt to sleep with Penelope Cruz to see if she noticed.
just shave your face and then go up to her and be like, put on a really shitty Spanish accent and see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, I would just turn her around and go from the back, and she would, never notice. And then the next morning, like, you're laying there, and she looks at you, and you're like, he looks kind of different. And then, you get up to use the bathroom, and then you switch places with Javier Bardem, and you've officially raped a woman, and she didn't know it. I mean, that's how you play the game in Hollywood.
If I were Javier Bardem and I wanted to play as Jeffrey Dean Morgan, I would shoot a pregnant Asian chick in the stomach.
You could have turned that bullet to snowflakes!
God damn it.
Oh, speaking of Watchmen, I finished The Button this week.
Oh, how was it?
It was good. I mean, I don't know if you ever going to read it, because there's Dr. Manhattan's in it for, the last, one page. It's all about the Flash and Batman.
That's what got me to pick up the original Rebirth.
Okay. I like the story. It's Flash and Batman, and it's very small scale. It takes place over a bunch of different timelines, but they're only in, one room. You should check it out. It's good.
I absolutely, like I said, I hope they release a trade paperback in the future that has Rebirth 1, then all of the Button, as well as Doomsday Clock when that comes out in November.
Well, I mean, DC needs your money just as much as Marvel does, so I'm sure they'll do something smart.
And DC deserves my money more than Marvel at this point, at least in the comic book world, so...
You're preaching to the fucking choir here. I mean, I even online when I read my books for free, I'm still reading the DC ones over the Marvel, because the Marvel aren't even worth my fucking time. Like, money
no
aside, I'll go out and buy DC books, like Dark Knight 3 and shit. I'm buying those. Marvel.
Yeah, I'm getting that in trade paperbacks based off of your praise for it alone. Which really quick, let me segue to the people that leave comments that go, "You guys are a bunch of Marvel fanboys. All you do is shit on DC." Do you not listen? Do you not listen to when we actually talk about comic books? Marvel fucking sucks in comic books. DC is kicking ass. I don't know how many times we have to say it before you get over your, I don't even know what to call it, your retardation. Is that the right word?
It's stupidity, flat out stupidity.
I mean, those are people who just look at the picture or read the title and like, it's like, oh, that's what it is. They're Marvel fanboys. I'm listening to this bullshit. It's like, how, just fucking listen to it. Take a time and just listen to, a little bit of it, and then you'll realize that you're fucking wrong.
That sounds like something I would say. No, the things that bother me are, it's funny. We have a guy, I'm never going to give his name on air because why give him the attention, but he subscribes to the channel just to thumbs down and talk shit. And that's cool because you're just helping us out by being a subscriber and watching the video.
Yeah,
but
thanks,
I find
buddy.
it funny that he's so malicious in his feelings towards our channel that he subscribes and wastes his time to shit on us. Thank you, my friend.
You know what? I wish this cuck would really just start, sharing, these videos he hates with his cuck friends. This way that they can all hate us too and watch us and thumbs us down as well.
Yeah, because then what they'll do is they'll complain to YouTube and say, like, oh, they condone rape and this and that and all these other things. They're like, what? And they'll never listen to the show. They'll listen to, like, little snippets and, That's how the world works, though. Like, everything's a fucking soundbite. There's no long-form entertainment. I looked at the Today Show for some reason, and everything's just like, quick, chop, 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 chop. There's no attention spans anymore.
Yeah.
It's sad.
Speaking of short attention spans, let's move on to the next story here. So you guys know how Resident Evil just wrapped up their film franchise?
Thankfully.
Yeah.
The same week that Resident Evil, whatever the name of the last fucking movie is, hit Blu-ray and DVD, they announced they're rebooting the franchise and they're planning 6 more films. And it's going to, the first one is going to be directed by Aquaman's James Wan.
Fuck you. Just fuck you. I give up.
I've only seen one of those movies, so I'm probably not going to see the next 6.
I like the first Resident Evil.
Yeah, the first one's like okay, the second one's okay. And it seems like the last one ended the same way that the last Fast and Furious ended almost. Like they're both in the snow. It's weird.
Speaking of shitty movies with like crappy effects and stuff, I actually watched the new Ninja Turtles movie today, and it was a waste of 2 hours.
Why didn't you watch A New Hope or anything, better?
Well, I did watch something better this morning. I watched the best documentary I've seen in years. Now, it only really appeals to me because I like James Bond, but it's a documentary called Becoming Bond. It's only on Hulu.
Yeah. They sent me an email about that. How is that?
It was amazing. It's the story of George Lazenby, and for those who don't know who George Lazenby is, in 1969, there was a James Bond movie called On Her Majesty's Secret Service, and George Lazenby is famous because he played James Bond one time and walked away. And it tells the story of his life and the woman he loved and how he lost her and all this shit. It was great. Like, normally, you don't want to see, like, an actor cry and shit, but you're like, wow, this is like, he's a real person, and you learn about him. He's not just a name anymore. And the cool thing is, like, they reenact most of it. It's not just him talking and looking at pictures. They've cast actors to reenact his life.
Oh, wow.
And they'll get big names. They got Jeff Garlin to play Harry Saltzman, who's one of the producers. Jake Johnson was on there. Dana Carvey played, what's his fucking face? Johnny Carson. Jane Seymour was in it, who was actually in a James Bond movie. It was well made. And it had footage from the Bond movies, and it had the music and shit. So it was like, it wasn't just independently produced. It had all the backing of a great documentary. And I love it. So if you got 90 minutes of time, listeners, sit down and watch Becoming Bond. It's great.
Yeah, I've met that guy twice at 2 different conventions, and he's always been super nice. Always.
You met George Lazenby?
Yeah.
Fuck you, man. I've always wanted to meet a James Bond. God damn it! Like, if I was at any convention, I would stop what I'm doing to go meet James Bond.
If I ever hear about him coming to a convention ever, I will immediately send you the link and be like, you better get a plane or a car or a train or a fucking Millennium Falcon out here and let's go.
I definitely will. I'll go steal an Aston Martin to roll up to the show.
There you go.
The funny thing is, when you watch the documentary, he's like, "Oh, I quit. I essentially got out of acting and all this shit." But if you look up his net worth, he's worth more than every James Bond actor.
What?
He's worth $100 million. Yeah, he got into real estate and made a ton of fucking money.
Fuck that. I mean, damn, that's a hell of a move.
Yeah, so it's funny. For as shitty as his acting career went, his entire life has been pretty fucking awesome.
Damn. All right. Shit. So he's the smarter Bond, or the smartest Bond.
Oh, and Lendenfield, you would like this documentary because there's a lot of nudity in it.
Oh, good. Sold. Why didn't you leave with that?
Well, the thing is, he used to be a male model, and he talked about having all this sex with these women and threesomes and shit. You'll laugh your ass off. If you watch it, even if you're not a Bond fan, you'll love it.
That's other something I'm doing. I'm definitely doing that. That's amazing.
Oh, so let's jump. Jeff, when I first met you, I remember you were quite the Uncharted fan, right?
I did like it. I owned the first game and the third game.
And I remember you singing those pretty good praises. How do you feel about Spider-Man's Tom Holland playing Nathan Drake in the upcoming movie?
I feel like it's another franchise I'm going to skip.
No? You don't like your Nathan Drakes, your action heroes, your Indiana Jones stand-ins to be played by a really short, scrawny teenager?
I mean, I don't want to try to get on a platform right now, but why can't we have movies with men like a guy that every guy can relate to? A 20-year-old, 150-pound British kid that looks like I could smack the shit out of him. I don't care if he plays Spider-Man. He's not believable outside of that because, Spider-Man has superpowers. But, I need to look, not up to somebody because I'm taller than most people, but I need to look at someone on the screen. Like Harrison Ford. I'm looking at Star Wars right now. Like, that dude has charisma and poise and everything. Well, Tom Holland's a little bitch.
Also, to reference Star Wars again, is that you have you have three ages of guys in that movie: Luke, Han, and Obi-Wan. All different ages, different age groups.
I've watched this movie about 1,000 times. I've never thought of it that way before.
Yeah, because you have Luke, the teenager, the young adult, Han, the adult kind of immature guy, and then you have the older gentleman, the Hugh Hefner, if you will. Obi-Wan with his robe and everything,
pulling down that space ass.
Oh yeah, dude, come on. What do you think he's doing in the desert alone? Come on, he's not just fucking eating sand people. He's laying some pipe. Let's be honest.
He's fucking the sand people. That's why they make that weird groan Ray run away because he goes in dry. He's like, oh.
That's why he calls them sand people because it chases dick like sandpaper.
Oh. From now on, what I want to do one day is I want to take a porn clip, and it's going to be a good one that everyone likes, and then at the very end, as the girls come, it's like, that'll take everyone out of the fucking moment. Like,
it'll be amazing.
It'll be like insta boner kill. Oh my god, I didn't know it could go that soft so fast. Like, people will be surprised. That's what I need to get into in life. I need to come up with a way to
go soft and light speed, man.
I need to come up with a way to make money off of your loss of an erection. That'd be easy. That'd be the greatest career ever.
You could be like an anti-rape device. Like he's trying to slide it into her against her will, and then you.
Why don't they market that for the new Star Wars movie? Put a sand person in for one scene and just market. It's like an IUD. It's just the sand person. I always safe with my Tusken Raider. It shows an attempted rape, and then the guy goes in and it's like, and he just runs off with his arms in the sky. She's like, I'll be back and in greater numbers.
Oh my god.
But to jump back onto your Uncharted thing, I don't get why they try to market so much to teenagers, because those people, I don't know every teenager. When I say these things, it's anecdotal. But the teenagers I've interacted with don't fucking really go to movies and buy the shit you try to market to them. Little kids like it, and then adults that are looking back kind of like it. I don't get how, we want this to be for the 17-year-old market, blah, blah. At 17 years old, all you want to do is fuck. You're not really worried about seeing Spider-Man play an archaeologist.
Well, see, and also the thing is that the marketing, the marketing thing is what is it, 18 to 24 or 14 to 21 or whatever, that big gap. But it's most of those people don't have any money, and if they're 20 and they're in college, they really don't have any fucking money. Market to the 30-year-olds, the 30 to 34, market to those people because they got fucking money. They'll give you the money. Come on, be smart.
If you're not going to make a movie for kids, Because then, if that's where you make a ton. Like the Boss Baby, I thought that was going to be a huge flop. It's made hundreds of millions of dollars domestically. I think.
Let me
It's
check
made
that
like
shit out now.
It's like over $100 million domestically. You gotta get something to where you can get kids to want to see it, and then the parents will come. So that's like 4 tickets. Because if you have 2 kids, the mom and the dad go. It's a whole thing. Uncharted, little kids aren't going to know what Uncharted is because I think they're M-rated games, which is fine. You shouldn't. You can make movies based off M-rated games, but I don't think Tom Holland has that big appeal yet. Like, for as much as I like Tobey Maguire as Spider-Man, outside of Spider-Man, he only did a select few things when he was, in that timeline of 2002 to 2007, and nobody really remembers anything.
All right,
Brothers. That's a fantastic fucking movie.
Oh, with was it Jake Gyllenhaal that's in there with him? And Natalie Portman?
Oh, of course, my girl.
Is that your dream three-way?
Wait, hold on. The brothers. Okay, yeah. All right. I know what you're talking about.
Didn't that come out when we were in college?
It was like 07 or 08, somewhere right around there. It was so good.
I never saw it, but I do remember it because he's like away in the military, right? And did they think he died or something?
They thought he died. He was a prisoner of war, so when he comes back, she's just started to like move on with his brother, and then boom, he appears, and then he goes crazy because he suspects her. It's just good. It's good.
Damn, dude.
It reminds me of. Have you ever seen The Dead Zone with Christopher Walken yet?
I have not.
Well,
that's a good fucking movie. Yeah, that's a good.
It's a great movie. But remember how he's engaged to that teacher. He's in the coma. She moves on, has a baby with another dude. But the part I do love about that movie, it's sad and awesome at the same time. Like, she sleeps with him one last time, and they have this great day, and he gets to see what his life would have been like with her. And she's like, well, we can never be back together. So I'm going to say, like, I do like in that movie how, she, like, puts it on him one more time, and it's like, oh, whatever. It's realistic to the fact, I think. I don't think you could come back if you're, like, that invested in someone, and then they come back. You're not going to be emotionally involved.
Yeah, but at least he let her break it off one more time, so it's fine. It's good.
So I have a question for the listeners, lady listeners. Jake Gyllenhaal or Tobey Maguire, who would you choose if you were Natalie Portman?
Jake Gyllenhaal.
I mean, I understand why, because the thing is, they're both equally creepy. For example, Tobey Maguire has the Toby face, so, like, he's banging, he makes that weird fucking, like, double chin, like, I'm taking a shit look, and, fine. But then Jake Gyllenhaal looks like he'll rape you as he's raping you. It's like, Jesus Christ, Jake, just bring it down. You got what you wanted.
At least with Jake, you know what you're getting. With Toby, he could just break down and start crying or dancing to, like, jazz music. Who knows?
As he's about to come, he brushes his hair to the side. That's a sign. It's almost over.
And then snaps his fingers and points at your snatch.
Now dig on this. And it just ends. Oh, my God. Listeners, by the way, Spider-Man month is coming in July. It's almost June, so be prepared. Get excited. It's going to be cool. I actually sat through the entire Spider-Man the Animated Series just so I could review it.
Nice.
No, not nice.
Oh, really?
Talk about nostalgia guiding people's emotions. That show is not as good as everyone on the internet says. If anything, it's pretty bad. I know some of our listeners will be like, I love that show. It's so great. And that's fine. It's not terrible. It's really not a bad show, but there is a better Spider-Man show, put it like that. And it's so much better that it makes this one look bad by comparison.
All right. Top Gun 2. Confirmed by Tom Cruise this past week. It's my mom's favorite movie, number 1 was. Has some really iconic moments. It's parodied a lot. Are you guys going to go see Top Gun 2 when it comes out?
No.
I'm a big fan of the 80s, and Top Gun is the only huge 80s movie that I don't like.
I mean, I'll watch it. If it's on TV, I'll watch it, but it's like, I've seen it. I know what it is. And there's only 2 songs in the whole fucking movie. And it's...
Danger Zone?
Yeah. It's okay. I think the only reason they're doing a part 2 is because, like, it's an excuse for Val Kilmer to lose some fucking weight. So...
Val, I have all the faith in you that you can do it. Not that that matters for me, but still, I believe in you, Val Kilmer.
And I mean, Tom Cruise. I mean, nobody's going to go see Mummy, so and he's not. I don't think he's a pull for people in theaters anymore. So, I guess it's just them hoping that they can rekindle the past or fuck each other in the butt or whatever. I don't know.
He should have said on the because I saw the little clip of him confirming it. He should have been like, if the Mummy makes $500 million, we're making Top Gun 2. Like, if I was an actor like that, I'd be like, hey, I got this project coming out. If this movie makes this much money, I'll go back to making the things you love.
Well, like, okay, like, what is it? Bill and Ted 3 got announced a while ago. Like, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago. And honestly, they could still make that because they have that time travel aspect. And that could still work. But, you know, do you really want it?
Yes.
Yeah.
I want to see John Wick play a fucking stoner. 69, dude. I love the first Bill and Ted movie.
Man.
So I got, what do we got here? So you guys know, you've heard a little bit about the new X-Men, New Mutants movie?
No.
No.
Okay, so the X-Men are getting a spin-off called The New Mutants, and it's not going to have supervillains and supposedly not have team costumes. Instead, it's going to actually be a horror film set inside of the X-Men universe. Do you guys welcome that kind of bold change, or what do you think?
Any other details? I'm like, any other details at all?
Is Guillermo del Toro directing?
Yeah, I'm about to say.
Just the exact quote from Josh Boone, who's the director of the film, says, "We are making a full-fledged horror movie set within the X-Men universe. There are no costumes, there are no supervillains. We're trying to do something very, very different."
I mean, all I can see is that, you know, like they all like literally drink the Kool-Aid, which is filled with fucking LSD, and their powers go nuts and weird shit happens. Like that's what I'm imagining, really.
I think this is a terrible idea. I've never said that about an X-Men film before. This sounds fucking retarded.
On a weird side note to all the SJW listeners, if you want diversity in your comic books, X-Men is where it's at.
Yeah.
Give that money and you'll get fucking diversity in comics, right?
Yeah, well, Marvel's dumbass canceled it because they're like, well, we can't promote a franchise we don't own. Inhumans! We love Inhumans all of a sudden. No, and you know what the audiences are like? No, Inhumans fucking suck, dude. Black Bolt and Medusa can suck a dick. Like, Lockjaw's the only one that's mildly entertaining, and he's a fucking dog.
Jeez.
So
I almost called him Grimlock.
I used to have this poster back in, like, 06, 07 era, and it was just all the Marvel characters. Really famous poster. Had, like, Captain, Spider-Man, Iron Man, and Wolverine in the front with hundreds of characters behind them. And I ran into that same poster at Walmart recently, except for they had no X-Men in it. And it really drove home the fact that they are going out of their way to make people not connect X-Men to Marvel for some reason, and it's kind of pissing me off.
Well, like I told you, when you brought up the whole Capcom versus Marvel 4, I won't buy that game unless Wolverine and Deadpool are in the game, because those are part of my core team of players. And you know the only reason they wouldn't be in the game is for this stupid politics shit that they're pulling. I'm not giving them money.
It's dumb because, like, oh yeah, that is the most diverse group of people that Marvel has, and yet nobody's touting, you know, oh, more X-Men films because of fucking diversity, blah 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 blah, and you know, Marvel's trying to shun it away. It's like there's your fucking diversity, there's your bullshit you want to put in your comics and, you know, put on, you know, your movies and bullshit. There it is right there, but you don't want to. Fuck you.
I don't get it. I mean, bite the bullet and just make X-Men books. People are going to buy them because as a publishing company, like 25 years ago, X-Men was their #1 seller. It kept the company afloat. It was the highest selling single issue of any comic book is X-Men #1 by Jim Lee and Chris Claremont.
Jeez.
It sold like 8 million copies. 8 million copies of one book.
You sure you don't mean 8 billion? Okay.
I mean, it sold more than... Okay, it didn't sell more than the Nintendo Wii... the Nintendo Switch is 648 trillion. I mean, we have so many Switches sold that they reach fucking Mars and back. Like, they say about manned space travel to Mars, you just walk the fucking Switch path and you make it to Mars eventually. That's how many Switches have sold. Nintendo is like, there's no more factory to build it. They just are like, please... You know, they're going to will them into your brain and count that as a sale. There's so many Switches out there in the world.
The good thing is I can walk across those Switches and go save Matt Damon.
Yeah. That's actually the deleted scene in the Martian. You know? Like, they go to land on the planet, they're like, oh, there's the Switch bridge. Matt, take the bridge! And so they have to do that slingshot around the planet, and he just starts walking the bridge. He's like, oh, sweet, I can take my system on the go. And he starts walking, he's playing Zelda. He's like, oh, fuck, the battery life's bad. So he just picks up another one and keeps going. Like, that's the movie, but Nintendo wouldn't sign off on it. But people were pissed because that's scientifically accurate. That's how it is in Mars. Like, you follow the switch bridge, you get home. Like, what you don't know is actually Thor, the Rainbow Bridge. Remember how it got destroyed in the first Thor movie?
Yeah.
They replaced it with the switch bridge to Mars. Like, it's cool. It's a thing. Everyone loves it. Thank you, Phil.
Oh, God.
So with Wonder Woman coming out, and the big narrative behind that being that as a female director, Sony's jumping on board, and they're going to be producing the first female-directed Marvel movie about Black Cat and Silver Sable. And the director is someone named Gina Prince Bythewood, whose only directing credit that I see is that she directed one episode of the upcoming Cloak and Dagger TV series.
Doesn't matter, man. It's not about her qualifications. It's not about her achievements. It's that the fact that she's a woman, man. We can't take any of her accomplishments into fact. It's just she's a woman. We have to accept it.
Did you hear about what Alamo Drafthouse is doing?
Yeah, tell the listeners. I don't even want to say the words.
Oh, God. It pisses me off because I love that place. I fucking love that place. But they're doing this bullshit where Alamo Drafthouse for a day is going to do, they're going to do a showing of Wonder Woman where only women and people who identify as women are allowed. This is what it says. Are allowed to come in. And there will only be female staff members, female ushers, female cooks, this whole thing. And, I mean, I've heard things that they're going to give the proceeds to a woman's charity. I don't know if that's true or not. But it's kind of like this, like, all right, so no dude is allowed in there to watch a movie. That is such a shitty thing to do because don't you want more money?
That's it. That's illegal.
It is absolutely illegal. You cannot. And because my last job was legal compliance for this sort of thing, you cannot discriminate your product or service based on specific demographics like that. They got rid of that shit with having, whites only areas in restaurants. So it blows my mind that a company would just outwardly go, "Yep, the only way you can get this service is if you're a woman." Like that, it's illegal. It is straight up illegal.
Yeah, and honestly, what are they gonna do if a guy shows up and wants to watch the movie? Tell him not take his money or refund him his money? Come on.
What you do as a guy is you buy your tickets online, and you pick them up at the kiosk, and you walk into the theater when no one's looking. You sit in the very back, and then you just start heckling the whole movie. Well,
see, and here's the thing with Alamo Drafthouse: they're one of those places that serves food and drinks while you're in the movie. So you're potentially talking about, if it's $20 ticket, maybe $40 in sales. You might be losing per person.
You're gonna get these Tumblerinas that go see this movie. The ones with the stupid fucking horn-rimmed glasses and those haircuts that make their faces look less fat somehow.
Yeah.
Like, you're gonna get them to go champion this movie? Like, I didn't want to bring this up on air, but I'm bringing it up now anyway. I don't know if I want to go see Wonder Woman next week. Just on principle.
I know.
DC.
I know.
It's not that she's a woman. It's that I hate DC movies. They're fucking garbage.
And they keep it was like, oh, we're not gonna do any advertisements now. We're not gonna do any advertisements now. Now it's like we're gonna jam it down your fucking throat. It's like, calm down. Like, take me out to dinner first, and then maybe you can. But no,
the narratives that they keep pushing are just turning me off. And I know I'm not the only one that feels this way. If I'm the only person that felt this way, we wouldn't have an audience.
True.
I guarantee you, there's 500,000 people that are pissed off at this agenda-driven shit. It's like, fuck it, man.
But if you go watch it, I'll make an effort to go watch it as well. Just letting you know.
Tell me down in the comments section if you want us to review Wonder Woman for next week's episode. I don't care. Like, the movie does not look appealing to me. It's not even that it's a movie. It's a fucking product.
Well, also in all the fucking commercials, what's happening in the movie? Who is she fighting?
They spoiled that. It's some lady named Chemical Princess or Chemical Queen or some dumb shit.
But they never
it's
show
in the trailer.
Her. Really?
Yeah, there's a trailer that came out. The last trailer gave the entire plot of the film away, and I went, oh, because I had a little bit of interest.
All of them have been just her fighting and her, her journey to getting to, civilization or whatever, things like that. And then, Chris Pine's there, too, just kind of, as a sidekick.
He's going to be naked in the movie.
Is he really?
I saw a headline talking about how excited he is to be appearing in a nude scene for a film.
Okay, so
I just want to beat him up now.
Hold on,
I physically want to hurt him.
So you're telling me that he's doing full frontal in a comic book movie?
No, he's not doing. They're not going to show his dong, obviously, but I guarantee you see his ass and some stage shots that are blocking his whatever size penis.
Here's how I'm going to do this from now on. Every time I hear a woman bitch about Scarlett Johansson's tits in a movie, I'm going to say as a guy, but I got to look at Captain Kirk's naked ass and Thor without a shirt every 5 fucking minutes to get you people to go watch a movie. And then all you do is bitch about it because they want to appeal to us. It's a double standard. I don't care that there's like The Room. I think that movie's weird and bad, and it has a naked ass shot, but it doesn't deter me from enjoying it. Like, I can enjoy shit even if there's a dude's ass in it. But I'm not...
and it's fucking Tommy Wiseau's ass, the worst ass.
It's like a pancake. It's the color of pancake batter. I'm just tired of this double standard bullshit. It's like, hey, like that movie, what was that, Bad Night that's coming out with Scarlett Johansson? It's like, I can't watch a movie as a guy that's got a beautiful woman in it without being, that's, unrealistic body expectations and other chicken shit bullshit that these Tumblerinas bitch about. But, look at Thor's abs, or this, or that. I'm like, I don't care about his abs. He's funny and likable. That's why I enjoy him in the movie. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
He could weigh 600 pounds. He could look like Jabba the Hutt. If he had the same personality, charisma, and did the exact same things in the film, I'd be happy. I don't care what he looks like.
Yeah, like I said last week, if they did a movie about Black Widow, I would gladly go watch it. I would give my money to watch that movie.
I'd be fine with it because they built up.
Exactly,
right,
exactly. There's character there. We've known her for almost 10 years now, and I'm willing, if they did a here's her story kind of movie, just a one-off even, I'll go watch it gladly. Go watch it.
Well, I think Wonder Woman's going to really determine. Marvel's smart. Like I don't like Disney. You know how I bitch about Star Wars and stuff, but at least Disney proper is smart. They know what a trend is. They know what's, just like a flash in the pan thing, and they kind of play around it. Not too many times do they do this dumb shit. I think with Marvel Studios, they're worried about building a strong character base, and then if they happen to be a woman or black or whatever, great, then you get to lead the Avengers. But, it's not about, if Warner Brothers was doing this dumb shit, Black Panther would be the first superhero, and we'd have to sit and watch a fucking 2-hour-long diversity commercial and shit.
Yeah, it would be Black Panther. Then it would be, I think, Miss Marvel is what it is.
Yeah, that comes out next. I'm not excited for that either, unless they do the classic style costume.
Yeah, and I mean those would be the two first characters that we would see. I think, anyways, from Marvel.
Yeah, and then if anyone bitches, well, Marvel doesn't have any black heroes. Well, Nick Fury's in the first fucking Iron Man.
Yeah.
War Machine's in Iron Man.
Yep.
1, and he's in 2. I mean, what? Oh, but he's not Iron Man. No shit, because Tony Stark's Iron Man. So get off of it. There's black characters. They're just not the main character, and there'll be black main characters. The Falcon shows up in Ant-Man, and that's one of the best parts of the whole fucking movie.
Exactly, and it's the same argument as the woman who argued about no female video game characters. That's a mute argument. You're fucking wrong.
You mean Anita Sarkeesian, the biggest piece of shit on the internet?
Yes, sir, I do.
I want to. I would never actually hurt her, but I would love to meet her in person, just tell her ass off, and spend 16 hours and tell her how she's so wrong. Because I think that would hurt her more than a fist. Because if you hit or do anything to these people, that's just fuel to their fire. But if you tell them how wrong they are and you hit them with the truth constantly, they can't do anything but break down and cry because they're all weak people.
Well, no, they'll break down and cry. They'll lash out with profanity or whatever, which just means you win. So
you're a man. You can't tell me anything. That's not how the world works. If you're wrong about something and I do know it, it doesn't matter if I'm a man or whatever.
I'm sorry if you don't believe it or your feelings are hurt. Go fuck yourself.
You're the wrong party here. Go fuck off.
So
this Alamo Drafthouse shit though, that angers me, and Wonder Woman angers me. Their agenda has made me dislike a character that I've always been okay with. I've never been a Wonder Woman fan. But I've never been I hate Wonder Woman. I don't want to see this movie now. Because it's not about it being a good movie. It's about a female-led movie directed by a woman. That's all they care about. fuck you narrative.
Yep. Well, I'm gonna keep delivering sad news if you don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead.
This is the
Roger Moore
saddest,
already died, so you can't make me sadder.
saddest fucking news I have read maybe this year. Red Dead Redemption 2, originally scheduled to come out in fall of this year, has been pushed back about 6 months. It's the whole reason I bought a PS4. It's the whole reason I bought my sister a PS4. Like, that fucking game is so addicting and is a masterpiece. And now I have to wait, and I'm an entitled selfish prick.
I never got a PS4 from you. What the fuck, man? We've been. I can't bitch. I got a Millennium Falcon.
And a trip to WrestleMania.
That's true. I can never complain. Like, people say, like, oh, I've done stuff for. I look at you. I'm like, man, I got a trip to WrestleMania 27 and the coolest Star Wars toy ever that is now valued at $700.
Damn, that's nice.
Yep.
Yeah. So thank you again, by the way.
Well,
No
I mean,
problem.
honestly, I mean, like, look at it this way. There's probably something horribly wrong with it, so they're actually taking the time and the money to make it better or fix it. So,
But I want it now.
I know, but, just be good and you'll get it.
Come to my house. We'll jump in the DeLorean. We'll go to the future a year and a half, and we'll just bring it back.
Can you please tell me the sports scores for all the sports things happening then, whenever we come back?
Honestly, I think Marty's plan is one of the greatest ideas in cinematic history. Seriously, I'm going to take this book back, I'm going to go bet on some races, and I'm going to make a couple bucks.
But here's the thing: if you keep doing it on like, okay, say you do it on like horse racing, basketball, baseball, and football, and like it's all those things happen in like a span of like maybe a week to a month. That looks really suspicious.
It does, but those people, like, okay, if somebody was just guessing all that shit, you couldn't say you're a time traveler, you have the book. Like, because time travel to those people doesn't exist.
Oh, of course, yeah.
So they would have no foot to stand on. Like, I'm just incredibly lucky,
Yeah.
And if you really want to make a ton of money, what you do is you invest, you play your game, or you bet on the games, you make a lot of money, then you invest. Then you know what I'm saying? You keep, like,
Oh,
building that way,
of course, yeah. You build an
build
empire,
outward.
and then you take over the world. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, like Biff, who's now Donald Trump, the president.
That's true.
So I got one last bit of news before we slide into our main topic tonight. It's a little connector, actually. Vanity Fair this week has released 3 special edition covers, and they're all Star Wars characters. One of them's a Carrie Fisher-centric one. Another one has, like, Rey and Luke and BB-8 and shit. The most interesting one is it has Captain Phasma with her helmet off, and by God, does she look like a dyke.
She is. Like, that's not even a joke.
A giant carpet-munching dyke.
A big fat lesbian mule, as the Grandma and Wedding Crashers would like to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gwendolyn Christie is not a... She's a handsome woman, we'll put it like that.
God.
She's like a Barbara Bush, very handsome. Strong features. Probably has a cock.
Good jawline, has a really nice mustache, yeah.
She puts, our shoulder. Well, not mine, because I'm broad as shit. But she puts your average man's shoulders to shame. She can lift. She's like that mountain dude on Game of Thrones, the one that does all the heavy lifting. She's like, isn't she on Game of Thrones?
Yeah.
Is that the same person?
I think actually I misread that. She is the mountain in Game of Thrones. I should have.
Oh, okay. I mean, we'll just take away your paycheck for this week's show, but I can forgive that mistake. I mean, they look identical. It's like, me and Dion, we look so similar.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weirdly, even on the trip, I kept mistaking you for each other. It was weird.
Well, I called you The Rock by mistake once because, all you Samoans are literally the same person.
That's very true.
You're on the show now, and then in 2 hours you're going to jump on a plane and you're going to go do publicity for Baywatch.
Yeah, it's weird, but, I got to do what I got to do, so.
Hey, your celebrity helps bring the listeners to this channel, which helps us grow, which helps,
Yeah, I mean, did you see when I was trying to run for president, a couple weeks ago?
Yeah, I'll vote for you, Dwayne. I mean, Nick, you have my vote.
Awesome.
So also inside that Vanity Fair thing, besides the mountain on the cover, they have Benicio del Toro's character, who they're only referring to as DJ, and they have Laura Dern's character, who looks like and And this pisses me off because I defend Star Wars, the new ones, but she looks like a fucking Hunger Games character. She has pink hair, and she wears all pink, and it just reminds me of the fucking last Game of Thrones movie, and that is not Star Wars to me. When I think of Star Wars, I can't think of anything pink, actually.
No, that's why I gotta give praise to Rogue One. They did such a good job making you feel like you lived in the world of the first movie. With the exception of a few, like, camera angles and a few other things. Overall, aesthetically, it looked like you were on the set of A New Hope, or just Star Wars.
No, yeah, I mean, watching it recently, like, and then thinking of Rogue One, it's like they got everything right. I mean, it's there, it's all there, you know.
Why is she pink?
I saw all these movies, or all these movies. I have seen all the movies, no, but I saw all these images that you're discussing. I was not impressed. I did tell you one thing though. I saw the one with Finn and Rey. I think they're gonna make them a gay couple in the next movie.
Nah, I hope God. That will make me stop watching Star Wars the minute that they start flaunting queers on film. Like, that's just a line that you don't cross.
You don't cross that gay line. Nope.
See, I don't mind if there are gay characters. What I don't like is when it's forced. Like in the new Star Trek movie, what was that, Beyond?
Yeah, the
when
third
Sulu
one. Yeah.
had to be met by his husband, I was like, come on. Even George Takei bitched about it. Like, he was actually gay. He's like, see, Hollywood, this inclusion thing that you're trying to push, like, no one wants that kind of no one ever feels like there aren't enough, like, okay, me, I don't say there's not enough biracial people in this movie. I don't feel a connection. I don't give a fuck. I love James Bond, the whitest fucking movie character has ever existed. Fucking British, straight nose, all that shit. My favorite character. I don't look a goddamn thing like him. I can still enjoy the movies and love them above all else. Why do you think I was invested when Roger Moore died? Because I loved those fucking movies. Roger Moore didn't have an ounce of black blood in him. Am I bothered? No. Okay? No. But now, the way everyone's so sheltered and coddled, it's like, hey, here's your representation. You should support this movie. There's a little bit of you in here. It's like playing to everyone's fucking ego.
Yeah, but I mean, Roger Moore did bang at least 2 black chicks, as far as I know.
In the first movie he was in, he fucked what's-her-face. She was ugly as shit, Gloria Hendry, but the first movie he was in, like, that's a blaxploitation movie as a James Bond.
That really is. That is a fucking blaxploitation movie. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. I
love that fucking movie, and it crossed a lot of lines, and it did a great job. Live and Let Die is one of the all-time great 007 flicks. And to jump on the news, Roger Moore died. Go watch the video. Go watch a James Bond movie.
I was like, oh, he's 89 and he died. And then I heard your video and it's like, died of cancer. I was like, good God, that's horrible.
I wasn't, like, crying over anything, but I was recording another video, and, like, I literally, my jaw dropped. I went, what? Like, I had the news on mute, and I looked over, and it said, like, Roger Moore dead. I was like, oh! And I, like, stopped the recording and read it, and then read his Wikipedia page and all this shit. I was like, Jesus Christ, the first James Bond to go. I always thought it'd be Sean Connery.
Yeah.
And I don't wish death on any of these actors, or any person, except,
Melissa McCarthy, Amy Schumer.
I don't have to wish death on them because Melissa McCarthy is going to eat herself to the grave, and Amy Schumer is going to get a rare STD and die in a week.
Yeah, or she's going to kill herself because she's slowly failing. So
that is funny how her brand of humor has already started to decline. It's not like I hate this shit, but it makes a ton of money. It's like society doesn't like you, bitch.
Is she the Dane Cook of fat basic white bitches?
Yep.
Dane Cook used to make me laugh, though, so much. I've never laughed at an Amy Schumer joke.
Very true.
Ever. Like, seriously, I'm not trying to be funny and speaking hyperbole for the podcast to entertain you guys, but I looked at her stand-up a couple times because you meet girls that are like, oh, I like Amy Schumer. So you see it, and you're like, whatever, and it sucked. I never laughed. She's not good, man. She's an agenda-driven piece of entertainment, or lack thereof, herself.
That's very true. I mean, she did a whole, like, what was it, Hillary thing during one of her stand-ups. It's like, you're alienating at least half your audience. What the fuck is wrong with you?
The worst one is Lena Dunham. Like, she's not talented.
Don't get me started on that cunt. Jesus
She's
Christ.
a child molester. An admitted child molester.
Yeah.
But she's a woman, so she doesn't have to be.
Yeah, and what is it? It was her sister, right? Is that what it was?
Imagine if fucking The Rock, the most likable man on the planet. Seriously, nobody does not like The Rock. Imagine if he released a memoir talking about him sexually abusing his kid brother. You think people would be like, it's okay? No, they'd be like, oh, you're fucking trash, you're a monster, we hate you, we're going to boycott you. She does it, and they're like, oh, it's okay. She's a woman.
She also said something about abortion, how she wished she would have had one. Like, what the fuck? Like, it just goes under the rug because she's, you know, a white woman. It's like, I swear to God.
My favorite thing that's ever happened to her, two things. The first, she hit on some black athlete, and the guy just was not interested.
No. She didn't even hit on him. She was projecting her fucking dumbass insecurities onto him, and he had no idea what was happening. He was just sitting at the same table with her, and he didn't know who she was at all.
As he shouldn't. You know, she's not relevant. And the second one is she lost a whole bunch of weight recently, and she blamed Donald Trump for, she's like, I can't eat, Donald Trump's the president. And some guy's like, you should thank him then.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because he made your fat ass skinny.
And it's funny how, like, everyone says how brave she is for getting nude. It's like,
really?
It's kind of like, it's like a gore scene in a movie. It's like, oh, here's the part where the guy gets his eyeball ripped out. I'm going to look away. Oh, Lena Dunham's showing her pussy. I'm going to look away. It's like, and how does she, like, she's like, oh, it's art. I'm an artist. It's brave, blah, blah, blah. It's like, you eating cake naked on a toilet's not art. It's just trash.
Yeah,
she's a child molester. Like, that should be the end of the discussion.
No. I'm with you, man. I'm with you, Curtis. I'm with you.
So am I. I mean, there's gonna be people that go, oh, whatever, man. So I gotta come up with some other reason to shit on her. I mean, I don't condone anything she's ever done, including that or just acting or being a human being. Like, just go away forever, lady.
No. She's somebody who needs to just go fucking kill herself.
I think we should make a list. Listeners can help us make this list of celebrities that should just disappear. They can either die, kill themselves, or get abducted by aliens and raped in outer space for 1,000,000 years on the Nintendo Switch bridge. But you should just tell us a celebrity to add to the list. Maybe I'll make a t-shirt that says The List, and it'll just be all the celebrities and how you want them to go.
That would also kind of be
a
wrestling reference, wouldn't it?
Yeah, the Chris Jericho list.
Yeah.
Bitch, you just made the list. Like, you know. Oh, Chris Jericho. I gotta give that man credit. One of the greatest of all time.
He's talented as fuck.
Yep.
And before I forget, I went and saw Alien Covenant last night.
How was it?
Weird. The pacing was really strange. The first hour and a half, like, it was a slow burn. Then they had a big action sequence, and then it went back down for a while. And then at the end, they had just, like, non-stop action. And I thought I didn't like it, but I have not been able to stop thinking about it. So, fans, if you haven't seen Alien Covenant, but you've been flirting with it, I would absolutely recommend go seeing it, because it has a lot of things that I've never seen in a film, or it subverts things that I've seen in film, and it's worth. I paid $10 because I went to a different theater. I can't stop thinking about it. Give it a chance if you're on the fence.
I watched it as well, and like I mean it was okay. I have different opinions about it, and the thing I hate about the new Alien movies is that none of them are like Rogue One. Like Rogue One encapsulated that whole era of Star Wars in the movie, and it connected with A New Hope. The technology in them and everything, every look of everything is brand new and shiny, and it's very like 2017, and it doesn't go with like the first Aliens, which is like 1980s, and it's very like grungy spaceship and things like that. And that's my whole thing. It's like there's no real connection, honestly, to the Alien movies.
Sure, I should have clarified. I've never actually seen any of the Alien movies. I own Prometheus. I haven't watched it. I own Alien and Aliens, which I think is number 2, right?
Yeah, correct.
The only time I've had any Alien movie on TV is when I was cheating on my wife with some girl I was doing drugs with. So I never really got to watch it. Yeah. So,
I mean,
this is a brand new experience.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, honestly, the first movie I saw was Aliens Part 2, and I fucking loved it because I was like the Queen alien and like a power loader fight and opens up to space and everything. I was like, this is fucking amazing. Watch the first one, boring as shit, but I still watched it though. I still watched it.
Aliens is one of the greatest movies of the 80s. One of the best sequels. Like, when people go like, oh, Empire is so much better than Star Wars, I'm like, I like them both. I think it's a taste choice, but I think Aliens to Alien, it's like night and day.
Yeah,
it's like Terminator 2 to Terminator 1.
Yeah.
And ironically, it's directed by James Cameron,
exactly.
So hey, there you go. It's all before he was making stupid space movies about blue people and people in wheelchairs, he was making Aliens and Terminator. He was the fucking king of the action movies.
So was James Cameron a guy that shouldn't do original ideas but take old ones and improve upon them in a sequel? Is that like
he should be the sequel guy. Like whenever you need a good part 2 done well, give it to James Cameron.
I'd be down for that.
I like what you're saying there. I'm of the mindset that he really didn't rip off Terminator. Because I know Harlan Ellison likes to say, like, well, that was my story first. But then when you look at his story and compare it to the actual movie, it's like, it'd be like saying that The Last Starfighter is 100% rip off of Star Wars and that they need to credit it. It's like, well, it takes place in outer space and there's a young guy with a journey. Like, that's about it. You know?
Yeah.
Time traveling killer. Whatever. Like, does Friday the 13th owe John Carpenter a check? Maybe, maybe not. Depends on what you consider, direct ripoff. Yeah.
Well, I mean, even those guys say, like, yeah, we ripped off Halloween, like, all the way, that's what we did. It's just ours in a cabin as opposed to, like, in a neighborhood. That's it.
Yeah, the first one is not that good.
I love
Friday the 13th.
I love those movies.
I was wrestling with my son today, and he dragged his arm across my chest, and it pulled my chest hair. I just so had a blanket, so I wrapped him up, and in my mind, I contemplated doing the old deleted scene from Halloween, or from Jason, excuse me, where I just swing him into a tree in a fucking sleeping bag.
Father of the Year, folks.
It hurt so fucking bad. I wanted to, oh, God.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you donate enough to our Patreon, we will get Curtis Lindenfield a free sleeping bag, and he can live out his fantasies accurately.
For just $25 a month, you too can support me putting my kid in a sleeping bag and beating him to death.
We need to make a commercial with a Sarah McLachlan song.
Oh God, we can do this. We can do this.
It's just you looking up at the camera with like no shirt on, like sad, like oh.
And then just like a sleeping bag with mush seeping out the end of it next to a tree.
Fuck, I want to donate to our own Patreon just to do that.
Oh, man. But no, like, yeah, James Cameron should go through and, like, just do that. He should be, like, sequel king. Like, that. Just do that. Just do that.
He almost directed a Spider-Man movie.
Actually, it's really funny to think about that because the first movie he did was a sequel. It was Piranha 2, Flying Piranha. I shit you not.
Wasn't it called The Spawning?
Yeah, The Spawning, yeah, but it was like the piranha came out of the water and flew and ate people. Like, that's what it was.
The only positive memory I have of any of the Piranha movies is the very beginning of the first one, where the girl's trying to jump into the water in her underwear, and she accidentally pulls her pants all the way down and shows her bush, and then pulls them back up real quick. That's the only part of that movie I remember. Because like, oh, it's a good looking woman. Oh, there's a pussy. And then she's like, oops. And they didn't cut it out of the movie. They left it right in. Yeah. So
well, that's my favorite
part.
That's also Roger Corman for you. That's for another day.
Oh, God. Yeah, we'll do a Roger Corman episode maybe for Schlocktoberfest. By the way, Nick, I was thinking in Schlocktoberfest, instead of doing a whole month, I think we should just talk about shitty 90s slasher movies.
Oh, God, yes. I'm totally down.
We'll get Dion drunk, and he'll get all depressed. He's like, I wanted to fuck, Jordana Brewster so bad in the Faculty. It just never happened, man. I'm like, I know. She fucked Paul Walker. They had a kid, and,
But
whatever.
but he died in a fiery car crash, so it's fine.
Well, he's already taken, so or she's already taken. Excuse me, he was taken from everyone.
Yep.
Sorry, that was terrible. So you guys want to talk about Star Wars?
Yeah.
All right. So tonight is the 40th anniversary of Star Wars, and I know people are like, May the 4th is Star Wars Day. No, if you think May the 4th is Star Wars Day, you're just the product of the internet, and you don't really know much about Star Wars. To me, May 25th is always Star Wars Day because it's the day Star Wars was released. And unlike most big movies that come out and change the world, Star Wars was released in 37 theaters. So it was not a big... They didn't even want to actually release it. Like, 20th Century Fox forced movie theaters that if they wanted this other big movie called The Other Side of Midnight, they had to take Star Wars. And Star Wars opened in 37 theaters. It broke 36 records. It was a hit. It instantly became a hit. But before it came out, there was no hype. There was no, excitement. Are you guys surprised that the biggest movie of all time was treated like that?
No, not at all. Because there's a story of a blaxploitation movie that came out in I think the early '70s called "Sweet Sweetback's Badass Song," and something happened to the one guy who owned the whole movie. He put it in one theater, and he had two showings. The first showing, 2 people show up. The second showing, it was fucking sold out, and it was sold out for like weeks after that.
Jesus.
Yeah.
So this was the first Star Wars movie I ever saw. Like I've said on previous podcasts, I actually thought this was the only Star Wars movie for quite some time. So maybe, and the thing is, I'm really invested in this one more so than the other ones because maybe for a year, maybe for not a whole 2 years, but maybe for like a year, this is the one I watched every Sunday. I had some of the toys, and you know, I read the books and shit that took place in this time frame, and this was all, you know, I knew for a while. So that's why I'm so invested in this one. The story has beginning, middle, end, and it could be the only Star Wars movie that exists. You know, this is my Star Wars movie. Most people like Empire. This is mine. So that's why I'm so excited to talk about this.
One thing I did hear about the toys is that they didn't have any toys, and one thing you had to do was like send in cereal box tops for a collection of the main cast, and that came in 6 weeks after you sent said box tops in.
Yeah, it was called the early bird package.
Okay.
And what it was is you'd go to the store and you'd buy the box, and it said like, you know, Star Wars early bird certificate package, and it was just a piece of paper that you filled out, and in like 6 to 8 weeks, or I guess it came out in March, so that'd be what, 12 weeks or something.
Yeah.
But anyway, it would come out, and you'd get in the mail, you get Luke, Chewbacca, Princess Leia, and R2-D2 in a box, or in little plastic baggies, and then you could go out to the store and buy the rest of the figures. Now, what a lot of people don't know is here in Cincinnati, all the toys were designed. And I live about 10 minutes from where all the Star Wars toys were designed, and I went to the same school where the guy that designed the Millennium Falcon and all that shit went. So it's kind of cool, like, here in town, we got a Star Wars exhibit today. Like, it debuted here in Cincinnati on Star Wars Day. So Cincinnati has always kind of been, like, at least to a Star Wars fan, it's always been easily accessible for Star Wars shit. So it's kind of cool. I don't live out in the boonies where it's like, I gotta go 100 miles to find Star Wars shit. Here, I mean, it was made here for so long, it's like part of the city. I mean, hell, there's a Kenner Street where the factory was. Yeah, most of the toys were... I mean, the toys were all made or produced in Hong Kong. I'm not saying they were actually physically produced here, but they were all the people that made the toys worked here. And it's cool. There's a connection. Hell, my mom dated a guy that worked on the fucking toys. That's why she saw Empire Strikes Back before it ever came out.
What?
Because she got some kind of... Yeah, she dated a guy from Kenner for years. She used to get free toys. I'm like, Mom, if you only would have taken those toys, kept them in the box... You could have sold them for a couple $100 each, you know?
And she went to an advanced screening of the movie. That's amazing.
And she hated it. My mom hates Star Wars. Like, she's like, well, it's better now that you've watched it 150,000 times and I've seen it so much. It's like, yeah, Mom, I know I made you watch it a bunch, but you don't have to tell me you like it. And she's like, I remember I saw it when I was in high school. When the first one came out. And she's like, you know, it was okay. It was a space movie. And she's like, I saw them all because they were popular, but I don't really like any of them. I'm like, okay, Mom, just shut up.
I love that. I love that so much.
So what are your guys' thoughts on the first movie?
Curtis?
So, watching it today or whatever, a point that you've always brought up that I didn't ignore willfully, but I was just like, yeah, I can see that. You talk about how important the soundtrack is, and watching it again today, I'm just like, Jesus Christ, I know every musical cue here. Everything is unique. Everything matches the mood. Like this, like you said, Jeff, absolutely could be the most important or influential soundtrack of all time. The music is unlike anything I've ever heard. It's all iconic, and it is all so deeply woven into the actual visual aspect of the film that it is, I don't know how it is just amazingly important.
I know. When Luke makes the canal run, like they have, you know, it starts that one piece of music. I was like, shit, I know all of this, and it's been a while since I watched the first one. It's like I know all these things. This is insane. So yeah, it is. I mean, the music itself is iconic. I mean, that's how good the movie is. Come on.
I'm looking at the movie right now. It's on it to the very end where they're getting the medals, and I know exactly where the musical cue is, even when the movie's on silent. Like I don't have to listen to it for a second to know it. Like I know exactly that it's the fucking part where it's like there's no horns and I don't know orchestral music instruments, but I know what it is. I'm just watching. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And you know, the music. I actually bought the soundtrack. That's rare for me to buy a movie soundtrack that's not Beverly Hills Cop. And I mean, I got a couple musical cues on my phone, and every time I'm like at the gym and I play one, it's like, oh shit, this is the part where they're shooting down the TIE fighters after they escape the Death Star, and you know, like, great kid, don't get cocky and all that stuff. And it's, I mean, I dare someone to find a better movie score. Seriously, it's not like it's almost not even up for debate. Everything is so iconic. Every musical cue from the opening credits to the fucking end credits is just perfect. There's not one like note that's out of place.
Yeah, very true. I mean, everything's, and I mean, from what I understood, I think everything was recorded live. Once the movie was done, they had the orchestra come in and do that.
They recorded it in like March of '77, and the movie came out in May, so it was like the last thing they really did.
All right, well, damn.
So that was something different on this viewing that really caught me. It was just how absolutely important the music is. Another thing, Jeff, that you always point out, the haircuts, they're a little dated, but beyond that, like, it stands the test of time today. It's not like I look at that hair notwithstanding and go, that's 70s. That's a very specific, because originally wasn't there talk that they were going to use a disco score? Have you ever heard that rumor?
Well, I guess because it was a contemporary thing, but thank God they did.
Right, prior to actually having John Williams sit down and do the music, they actually were considering using disco music. That would have fucking ruined it. Star Wars would be nothing.
Well, I mean, I don't think it would have ruined it. It would have made it lesser than what it is now. Because I mean, yeah, because nobody would care about the soundtrack then. It wouldn't be like something that everybody wanted, or it's gotten put on vinyl and CD and all kinds of shit like that. But yeah, I think it would have just been like, oh, it's a very, because if it was disco music, it would have been very in that era and only in that era, and it would have been fucking passed by.
I don't think it would be timeless like it is. I don't think this movie would have made the money it did, because like Back to the Future, great movie, but they were smart. They have music from the 80s in the 80s scenes, music from the 50s in the 50s scenes, but there's an orchestral score that ties it all together.
That's true.
Because that's why that movie is dated, but not in a bad way. It's specifically set in the time period. No matter what, it has to feel like the time period, and that works out perfect. Star Wars, that music just, like, transcends it to where, like, that'll always be cool. Like, those instruments will always be used. It's not like we're using a fucking... what's that one? A theremin?
Yeah.
Sound. Like, it's not like they put it full of that. And if they had disco music, man, I'm telling you, that theme needs the power behind it. That dun 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 dun, with the fucking drum and shit.
Oh god, yes.
Like, if it's a fucking disco beat, like, it's almost like it sounds like a porno. It's like a bad porno flick, And then all of a sudden, Princess Leia goes down on a stormtrooper. It's like, whatever. It would ruin it.
There's only one piece of music in the whole Star Wars franchise that I think dates itself, and it's when Luke is going into Jabba's palace in 6, and it has the synth right there. That wow, wow. It's the only thing that I hear in the whole saga. Is just like, okay, I can very specifically pinpoint what point in time this movie was filmed. But beyond that, yeah, it's timeless. It's all connected with the orchestra. It's you can listen to it and not be cheesed out. Like it's amazing.
Yeah.
And you brought up the haircuts real quick. I always say this though, the Luke Skywalker haircut has come back in style. Like when we were in high school, I knew a lot of guys that had that haircut. So for me, it's come full circle to where that's not even like a dated thing anymore. Like people just wear their hair like that even to this day.
My oldest son has Luke Skywalker hair.
That's natural?
Natural, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Well, also one thing I saw about watching this movie is, like, apparently the Stormtrooper guns have a stun function. And it's only been used once ever.
Well, in Empire Strikes Back, they do mention about the stun option. Set your blasters to stun or whatever. Darth Vader says it on Cloud City.
Okay, all right, yeah.
Funny thing, because when I watched it today as well, that was the first thing I had to go, oh, one time. They only do it one time in all 8 movies.
There's one set for stun.
Yeah, it's like we have the stun function. We never use it ever.
That's why I always put Princess Leia on such a pedestal about strong female characters, because like they're like set for stun, and she just shoots the dude in the chest and runs off. Like damn, like that's some hardcore shit. She does not pull any punches, and I love her for it.
Oh man, yeah, because I watched it and I was like, hold the fuck on. I completely forgot about it as a kid. I was like, yeah, there's a stun function on this, and apparently I don't know, did they charge them by USB or something? Like what's going on here?
They use Tabana gas to charge their weapons. That's what Cloud City makes. Dude, I'm telling you, if you would have met me in like from 1995 till about 1999, right before Episode 1 came out. All I cared about was fucking Star Wars. Like, that's the longest period of my life that I was into one singular thing. And it was heavy. I used to ride my bike to the library, even though I had a library card, and I would just sit at the library and read the books, and then come home. Some days I would write down where I was and go back and finish the book. I don't know why I wouldn't take the book out, but I had done that multiple times as a kid, only for Star Wars shit. Nothing else. I was just so into it. It was ridiculous.
I just found my old original trilogy encyclopedia. The one that has Vader on the cover, and it just like cuts lightsabers in half, and you can see all the parts inside.
Oh, dude, I love those books. Those books are awesome.
Amazing, and now my kids have it, so that's another cool thing for me to experience. That's why this movie is so fucking important. It made me a fan instantly, and the second my kids saw it, they're a fan. So now we have this connection that spans, 20 years. It's timeless. There's something about it that I can't speak for women. But inside, like every young man who sees it, they feel this connection, and that's powerful. You don't get that with many other movies.
Yeah, yeah.
Nothing today. Even if the movies make $2 billion, you don't get that.
No,
because I think why I always harp on Episode 7 not going to have the staying power. The first Star Wars came out and it permeated culture. It was everywhere, and it was the one singular thing like that for so long. Yeah, you had Alien come out in '79, and you had other movies, but Star Wars was that one thing, and it stuck around, and it was everywhere. Now you got something every weekend, and you'll never get another Star Wars.
Yeah, and I mean that's the thing. That's the thing that I feel about the Star Wars movies. They were events. They were events. Even when they had the remastered ones that came out in the early special edition ones that came out. That was an event.
97.
That was an event to me. And I was like, holy shit, they're releasing 15 and a half minutes more of A New Hope. I'm fucking down. What did George Lucas not put in there that I need to watch? And
dude, there were premieres for that shit.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I bought tickets in advance. I was in the line. I wore the shirt. Yeah, dude, I nerded out. It was awesome. And
that was the only time I saw Star Wars in theaters was the special edition.
Yeah, same here. And then they had the prequels that came out after that, I think, correct?
Yep, because they came out in '99.
Yeah, and I mean, and once that happened, then you had the prequels, and I was like, that's an event, and then even I think with the last one, it took them it was instead of 2 years in between, it was three years for the last one, correct?
It was 3 years every time. It was '99, 2002, 2005. Okay,
yeah. So yeah, I mean, it was an event because it wasn't like they're pumping one out every year like they are now. It was like here's a date 3 years from now, this one comes out. It's like shit. All right.
And the hype would build even though the prequels were bad to a degree. The build between them, people that weren't alive for it, episode 1 was shitty, but episode 2 could be better, and you still got pumped for it. And then when episode 2 was shitty, you're like, well, 3's gonna be good because it's when he becomes Darth Vader. There was always something to keep you.
Oh yeah. Oh god, yeah.
I'll give George Lucas credit. He was always able to keep Star Wars relevant. Fucking 30 plus years after it came out, he still kept those movies fresh. They still kept their value at the store. For example, I love Beverly Hills Cop. I go on and on about how successful it was, this and that and the other. The movie made $300-something million. Big hit. I think it's the 49th biggest film of all time. But the movie can be had for fucking $2 or $3 on DVD. Doesn't hold the value. Star Wars, on the other hand, always holds value.
Yeah, or it's just free on Netflix or Hulu.
Yeah,
that's how. Yeah, whereas Star Wars, I just bought my brother and sister the Blu-ray set, and that motherfucker is still $70.
Oh shit!
And it's not even that great if you're being honest. They're only 2K scans. The movies need to be touched up if they're trying to finish them. There's inconsistencies all throughout that George Lucas should have fixed.
And A New Hope,
and then,
for the Blu-ray release on A New Hope, there are some definite audio issues where you can tell they cleaned some up, and then others they isolated it and re-put it back in, and it's a different volume, and there's no white noise behind it. So especially with Harrison Ford, for whatever reason, the audio quality whenever he's talking on the Falcon is just inconsistent.
Now, if you think that's bad, go back and watch the first release DVDs. Oh my god, if you think the inconsistencies are bad on the Blu-ray, go watch the DVDs where they'll be saying something and then they'll go and now Princess Leia, you've had the opportunity to whatever pick the planet. In the middle of the sentence, it goes real echoey like this, and then it goes back to normal, and then back to the echo. The DVDs of Star Wars are embarrassing.
That is something that I've actually made that mistake as well. It's when you clean it too much. you'll get the metal can or echoing effect as well. And that's something that you like. The way you prevent that is you take the audio file and make a fucking copy of it. This way, in case you fuck up, you can start again. Obviously, that guy didn't do that.
Well, I think, I mean, I'm not trying to make, it is my favorite Star Wars movie. I'm not trying to defend it, like, overly defend it, but I actually think on the Blu-ray, they redid a lot of the audio, because if you pay attention, there are certain audio cues that are different than any other release of the film. Like when Luke goes, good shooting wedge or whatever, when he's, when fighting the Death Star. If you go back and watch any other version of it, it sounds real computery, like he's over a walkie-talkie, but on the Blu-ray, it's just like Mark Hamill's in the room, like, good shooting wedge, like, it's odd, the changes they've had to make. I think they had to make those changes, though, because that movie was shot on, like, substandard film stock, and it just wasn't... Remember, it wasn't like no one was excited for it. That's why, like, I'm watching Empire right now. It looks like night and day, like a whole different movie, like, quality-wise.
Yeah.
I mean, you had the... Everyone wanted to work on Star Wars then. Before, people were like, this is retarded. What are you fucking making? Put some pants on Chewbacca. Like,
Because prior to Star Wars, there wasn't really a whole lot of respect for space films. Because they were so used to the Ed Woods of the world with their shitty props and convoluted plots.
Ed Woods and that whole, like, all the space movies that came out, like, during the 50s and 60s, sort of black and white, and like, the ideas were crazy as shit.
George Lucas legitimized an entire genre. He showed that you can make a serious film that's still fun, but appeals to a lot of people and touches on a lot of important things, which was sorely missing from the genre and, frankly, the majority of film as a whole.
And you talk about changes. Dude, I mean, this is not really a positive change, but he essentially created the modern movie market we have today, just in one movie.
Oh, God, yes.
We're talking about Spider-Man coming out in a couple months and shit, and there's merchandise and this and that and the other. Back then, there was no movie merchandise. Hell, even for the first Star Wars movie, it took, almost a year to get toys on the shelves and shit, Like, the Star Wars created an industry that's still around today, for better or for worse, but still, that one movie created, the way we live now, entertainment-wise.
Yeah.
The tie-in, all this shit. I mean, I don't know of any other fast food tie-ins before Star Wars. I don't know of, an action figure line, a single action figure line based on a movie that lasted that long,
No, yeah.
and sold that well. Like, Star Wars is like the franchise of franchises when it comes to merchandise and tie-ins and all that.
Yeah, it's the one you want to be and the one you want to follow and look at it, analyze, and see how they did it.
It sucks, though, now, because their license is so expensive, and the quality of the shit they make is so cheap, so they can make a bigger profit off the stuff, and... Oh, no, we're in as much as I'm excited about the first Star Wars and lovingly looking back on it, like, currently, there's a lot of problems with the way they do shit now, because they force it so quick, you don't have time to enjoy anything.
Do you think for Part 8 they're going to force a lot of toys and stuff on us?
Not as many as 7, because, Curtis, I know you buy toys for your kids, like, you remember how there were so many toys out for this movie, and how you can still, or Episode 7, you can still find them to this day, almost 2 years later.
They still have Black Series Finn on discount at every Walmart I go to.
Oh, that's racist. The black guy's on sale. Fuck off.
The characters. He should be 40% off, if you catch my math joke.
But slavery.
Oh, that's good shit.
But no, I'm looking forward to the toys. My kids collect them. I have like 7 of the 6-inch black figures. But really,
I think they're going to taper it back, though.
I'm sure their production will be less because they'll look and go, "Fuck, we made a lot of these toys that we're having a discount at half off." But really quick before I forget, we can go back to the toys. As much as I love Star Wars, my favorite franchise, much as I love this movie, happy it's made it 40 years and it's still big, I still get bothered that Tarkin calls her Leia. And I get pissed that some people refer to Han as Han. Like, I don't know, as a filmmaker, how you allow those consistencies, even after all the special editions you do, to remain in the film. It pisses me off.
Well, I mean, it's one of those things where, like, that's part of, like, it's a mistake, and it's there forever, and it's just one of those things where it's like, you know what, that's what happened, and it's part of the experience. Yeah, it's part of the thing, man.
Well, if you ever notice, when they film, he's Han Solo up until about Cloud City, and I think people just started calling him Han, and then they all just started to like pick up on it. You know what I'm saying?
It doesn't make it look
because if you watch Empire,
it doesn't make any goddamn sense though.
Oh no, I agree that it's stupid, but I think that I'm just guessing why it changed in the middle of the movie. Because in the third one, he's Han Solo again. No one calls him Han. But even C-3PO, who calls him Han in the beginning of the movie, calls him Han at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
And Lando calls him Han, and Princess Leia says Han. Like, what the fuck?
And going back to this movie, the one that this video is focusing on here, Tarkin, who should know Princess Leia pretty well. Apparently, they've had run-ins before because she could recognize his stench from anywhere. Like, he calls her Leia, and it's not like
Well, honestly, by him doing that, it could be a slight to her and being like, instead of calling her "you bitch," it's like, I'm gonna mispronounce your name.
Next, you're gonna tell me that Hydra's not Nazis.
I hate to push
Wait, you think Hydra's Nazis? You dumb bastard.
I mean, that's my thought process. I could be entirely fucking wrong. Who knows?
My guess is that he said it wrong. George Lucas wasn't going to correct the great Peter Cushing and just kind of was like, oh God. He was like about to have a heart attack making this movie.
Because I mean, $8.5 million in the 70s. That's like having $80 million.
Though, I gotta give it credit for some of the older movies that get dated, like Star Wars. Even in the original cut, like all the human stuff looks great. Like the props look well made. They don't look cheesy and plasticky. The costumes are perfect. I mean, okay, can you when you think of the characters? Unless you're thinking of like Luke Skywalker as a Jedi, like that farm boy image is just so tied to the character. When they parody Luke Skywalker or homage him, it's that costume. Han Solo is always with the vest, not the jacket. Princess Leia with the, buns in her hair, all that. Like, that first movie just hit everything perfect right off the bat.
Oh, yeah.
It just goes to shit. But here's one thing I don't think people take into account. Like, everyone's like, oh, George Lucas was a genius. He did this and that. George Lucas was a great delegator. Because you got to give guys like Ralph McQuarrie and John Williams and Joe Johnston and all these other people that actually did the work. Like, people sat down and drew this shit and then just showed a picture to George and he went, okay. Like, that's all he really contributed to, like, the actual look of certain things. Or he would say, oh, I want it to feel lived in, or there to be rivets, or this or that. Like, yeah, George, that's great. And I give him all the credit.
Directing sometimes is like producing. It's like you could bring a box of donuts to set and you could be the director or the producer. Depends on your level of involvement and your level of skill and how much you're willing to delegate and do things.
Yeah, so I just wanted to throw that out there. That's one thing I've never had a discussion with people, and I feel like, there's other people, like John Williams, the sound of Star Wars, or Ben Burtt too. We got to throw that guy in there because the lightsaber and the way Chewbacca sounds and the Millennium Falcon and all this shit, like
because those sounds were never there, and he had to invent them. He had to go out. From what I understand, he had to go out and get them from various places and things that he just heard.
Yeah, and I mean, all those things are what makes Star Wars Star Wars. It's not George Lucas's great vision. It's every person's contribution, and it all just came off perfectly.
Oh yeah, I mean it takes an army to make a movie. It's not just one person. Like it's ridiculous.
See, I'm more of a person who subscribes to auteur theory, so. And I say that really douchey, but for the most part, I do agree with that theory. I do think directors usually the single most important person on set. But to go with what you guys are saying, yes, all those other people contributed amazing things. But I do think that without George Lucas, they wouldn't have all come together to create such a perfect film. I know that the original cut wasn't right, and they had to be recut, but ultimately, he still kind of brought those puzzle pieces together and made a beautiful picture out of it.
Well, it's funny how, on the first one, I'm going to go with no, because he had a producer. He had so many people tell him he couldn't do what he wanted to do. That's when you get George Lucas, like unfettered George Lucas, where it's like, I can see my vision. You get episodes 1 through 3, and you see how those are treated through, by most people. I think George Lucas brought so much to the table, but it's like, you could, it's like Vince Russo in wrestling. He did all these crazy angles in WCW and killed it, but when he had Vince McMahon as his, his editor, per se, like, Vince's, editing helped make the Attitude Era what it was. With Star Wars, like, you had Gary Kurtz. Like, you could even argue that Return of the Jedi is the first, misstep in Star Wars, if you want to make that argument. But there's no Gary Kurtz involved. You see how, when you surround yourself by yes men, you know, whatever, you may get your own way, but maybe your way is not the best. Having those other people involved kind of telling you, like, this dialogue sucks, this is stupid, this or that, that's where you get the iconic lines and the great
because like you need to be like, all right, well, this is happening in the script. Why? Tell me why. You know, I mean, he wrote it, he directed it, that's fine, but I mean, if the fucking, you know, PA giving you coffee doesn't get the idea you're conveying, then you've kind of fucking lost it.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, George Lucas seems like a really cool dude, way better than I ever thought he would be. Like, if somebody's like, you can hang out with one director and, you know, just experience what they live like, I'd pick him, because he's got a ton of money and he seems like a cool dude underneath it all. Star Wars is kind of nerdy, but I don't think he's, like, overly nerdy, because he's like, oh, you know, I'm into cars and this and that, and I got a black wife, so George Lucas has got to have some kind of, like, cool fact.
Yeah, he made American Graffiti, which is one of my favorite movies of all time. I love that movie.
I actually just picked that up from the store here recently, because they re-released it as, like, a pop art series with, like, new covers, and so I'll be watching that soon. But, you know, every interview I've seen him with, he's really humble, he's really soft-spoken. I like his theories on art and film. Like, he just, like you said, I just want to be around him. I just want to, like, talk to him.
I feel like he takes good care of the people, too, though, that made, you know... for example, like, Ralph McQuarrie was the conceptual artist that designed a lot of this shit. I feel like George Lucas would surround himself by the best artists and pay them well, not like a Stan Lee that tried to screw you over.
Well, because is Lucas a Jew?
No.
So there's a difference.
There you go. Shit, I just learned something. So do you guys have a favorite part of A New Hope, or just Star Wars, depending on how old you are?
Yeah, actually I do. I was watching it earlier today, and it's the part where he's with the trainer bot or whatever, the trainer orb, and he keeps missing, and it keeps hitting him, and then Obi-Wan's like, well, use a blast shield and you might get it, and you kind of see that moment of, it's like, oh, like, that's the Force, that the Force just happened, like, he's part of it now. He anticipated the two shots from the trainer orb, and that's it. There's Luke Skywalker Jedi.
Mr. Lindenfield?
I was trying to go through and pick a favorite part. I guess let's go the opening scene. I mean, you have this cool looking ship flying, and then an even cooler looking one coming from behind it, and then it has the cuts, blasting at it, and eventually it intercepts, and then you have all these guys waiting in this like pristine, spacey but not too like sci-fi room, all lined up with their guns, just anticipating what's going to happen, and then just gunfight. Fucking Vader comes in. Like, what a great way to open a film.
Oh, God, yes.
I think, I'll tell my favorite scene in just a second, but I think that's one thing Star Wars does better than Star Trek. Star Trek, yeah, has small budget and stuff, but, like, and I don't mean to sound too, I don't want to get too deep, but, like, the portrayal of violence in Star Wars is more realistic, and I think that's what adds to its cool factor. Like, the guns aren't like little lasers you just go pew and hit you and you just go, oh, and fall down. Like, they shoot you and you fucking go back like a real gun.
Well, also, like, Star Wars is very Wild West. Like, that's...
Oh, yeah, it's a space
Yeah,
Western.
I mean, that's what it is. And Star Trek is very, like, scientific, and it's like, well, we have the Prime Directive, we shouldn't really fuck with these people. Yeah, but fuck it, we'll kill them anyways.
I'm just saying, when the shit goes down in Star Wars, there's explosions and running and shit.
Oh, yeah.
In Star Trek, it's like, oh my God, grab the bridge.
Yeah, because when they're shooting ships and things like in Star Trek, they're still sitting down and, like, pressing buttons. Yeah, real fucking sexy.
Star Trek is so fucking gay. It's so gay. And I don't care if it has one or two good movies or whatever. Everyone I knew who liked Star Trek in school was just a pale skin, fucking red-eyed, blonde-haired, albino bitch that thought they were smart because they were watching this really intellectual shit. I'm like, there's nothing fun about Star Trek. Star Wars is fun. Beginning to end,
Yep.
You're on a thrill ride, you're going to touch on moral touchstones, blah, blah, blah. Star Trek is just like scientific jargon, like Jeff said, little laser pointers that kill people. Everyone wears the same fucking uniform. The aliens look stupid. There's a bunch of queers and non-whites. Like, it's just garbage.
And to jump on that point too, like Nikki brought up about how they fire lasers by just pressing little buttons. Like Captain Kirk's like, all right, hard to port, hard to starboard, fire the proton torpedoes, blah, blah, blah. Like, Luke Skywalker's like, oh shit, they're on me, and you could, like, see him fucking, you know, maneuvering the ship, and it does barrel rolls, and it banks, and it does all this great shit, like...
Yeah, because
Star Wars feels
because you know, he's touted in A New Hope as being a good pilot. And you see that, you know, when they do the when they attack the Death Star, you see how good he is. He doesn't die.
That's why when everyone goes, well, Luke's a Mary Sue too, I just look at him and go, you don't really know much about Star Wars, because if you, even on just a basic viewing of the film, the shit he's able to pull off is already established. It's not like he just pulls shit out of his ass magically.
And even then, the only time he uses the Force is, once again, my favorite scene is when the blast shield is down and he dodges 2 laser blasts from the training orb. That's his only Force use of the Force that I can think of in the movie.
He blows up the Death Star when he connects with the Force.
Oh no, you're right. No, you're right. My bad. But I always kind of equate that with like Obi-Wan talking to him. And he kind of does it that way, so...
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I look at it like it's already, like, it's just it amplified one of his skills enough. Because, what's-his-face, Red Leader was able to get down the trench and fire. Yeah, it impacted on the surface, but he still was able to almost achieve it. Luke's shot was just, like, slightly guided by the Force. So it only augmented what he already knew. It's not like he never had flown a ship or, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was just... It helped.
Yeah, and I mean, they kept saying in the movie, it's like, he's a good pilot, he's flown, he can do these things. So even in just fucking dialogue alone, it's established that he can fly.
I think it's said 3 times. Once by Obi-Wan, when he says, I've heard you're a good pilot yourself. Once by Luke, when he says, I'm not such a bad pilot myself. And then a 3rd time when Biggs is like, he's the best bush pilot in the Outer Rim.
Yeah, right. The 3rd time is right before he gets in the X-Wing, yeah.
In each act of the film, they establish that Luke is a good pilot. And that's all Luke really does in the film, is flies a ship.
And once again, fucking dialogue. No cutscenes, no awards, no bullshit, no nothing. No t-shirts like, hey, I won the fucking race. Like, it's just said.
Yeah, and another thing, like, Luke arguably has fired a blaster or whatever, but, like, when he's on the Death Star, he's not the one that's shooting all the stormtroopers down. It's Han Solo and Princess Leia. Luke's just kind of providing cover fire or holding a blaster to play a role. But if you really pay attention, it's not like he's, you know, he's the one getting all these shots off, because when he's stuck trying to get out the grappling hook, he's like, here, give it to Princess Leia, and she's the one that starts shooting all the stormtroopers down.
Yeah.
You know, I think Han... I just looked at it, so I don't remember off the top of my head, even though I just watched it. Like, I don't know how many shots Luke got as a stormtrooper, but I'm saying it's maybe 2, if that.
Yeah.
He shot 2 of them when he saw Obi-Wan die, in like a fit of rage. But I don't think before that he got any of them. I think Han's the one that got them all.
Yeah, and it's also kind of... I'm surprised by the fit of rage he didn't go to the dark side.
Well, I don't think he knew what the Force was enough to even know.
That's true, yeah, that's true.
That's what I like about the first one, too, because it's not like it tries to lump this, like, well, the Force, this and that. They tell you what the Force is, and then, oh, that'll come later.
Yeah, and once again, using dialogue only, they've explained it very well.
I'm still pissed off because I don't know why anyone would like Star Trek more than Star Wars. I can't think of a goddamn thing that Star Trek does better.
Apparently, I struck a nerve.
I can't think of one goddamn thing that is superior about Star Trek.
The only positive I can say about it over Star Wars is it's lasted longer, but that doesn't mean it's a good thing. No. I mean, I like the old Star Trek show for all the wrong reasons, but I'm with you. Star Wars is better in every way.
So
better designs, better action.
Everything's better. And I'm sure we're going to get people in the comment section that prefer Star Trek. And let me just say to you right here and right now, I am humble enough to know that I can be wrong. It hasn't happened yet, but I'm aware of the possibility that in the future I could be wrong about something. But I'm telling you right now, Star Wars is vastly superior to Star Trek in every way. And if you don't agree with me, here's the mantra again, go kill yourself.
I like how yours is darker than mine, but everyone gets pissed off when I say go fuck yourself. It's like
and also watching the movie recently, the monster that's in the trash compactor,
The Dianoga.
Oh, it's called a Dianoga. I never knew that. Never.
Everything in Star Wars has a fucking name.
Well,
everything.
Well, also, I mean, it's supposedly a new ship, and apparently there's a monster already in the fucking trash can, and they have so much trash that they have to fucking have trash compactors. It's just like odd because it seemed like they just got the ship like done, and they just put like the coat of paint just dried. And
maybe they junked a ship that had it on board.
Oh shit! Yeah.
I just made that up on the fly. I'm not trying to say you're wrong for wondering
that might be the case, but I mean, also the fact that it knew that there was going to be trash compacting happening, and it left and went to probably some other chamber is fucking terrifying. There's a giant monster with one eye on this ship.
Speaking of the trash compactor scene, I know that I just got over really promoting and putting over Star Wars, but something that I never realized before and bothered me today was, so they all jump in the trash compactor during their fight with the stormtroopers, and then the stormtroopers just like go on with their day and don't bother to check to see where they jumped into.
Huh.
No, they had to know where they jumped to. That's why they turned on the trash compactor.
That could have been scheduled.
I've always interpreted that as, what shit timing, like they gotta crunch the garbage because that's part of the process. It's just like they're shooting at the stormtroopers are shooting at them, they see him jump into a hole, and then they're just like, well, I'll just go back to work.
I always took it as, well, they're down there trapped, let's just crush them. Like, instead of saying it, I was just like, oh, okay, they're gonna die in there. And
I love that both of you have your own interpretations of this scene. It's amazing.
Yeah, and neither of us
No,
are
exactly,
wrong,
exactly. Neither of you are wrong, exactly.
But that's the beauty of sometimes not over-explaining.
Entirely. Also, did the stormtroopers ever carry grenades?
Those things on the back of their belts are thermal detonators, but they never use them in anything.
Okay, in that case, you would think they would throw 2 down there just to be safe.
True. Here's one thing I do have a complaint about that scene. Luke and Han could have shot there forever. They could have easily kept themselves safe. What they needed to do, instead of running back down the detention block, the thing is, the stormtroopers, there's one little elevator that lets them in, right? If they just shot all the guys that were there and dead bodies were blocking the path, they would have a lot more free time.
Dead stormtrooper plug that would just plug the hole.
Yeah, and that's the only thing I've ever thought when I watched that scene. It's like, why don't they just stay where they are and keep shooting the guys and then figure out a different way? I mean, the garbage chute makes sense because there's nowhere else to go. Because I guess at the end of the hallway, there's nothing else there.
Yeah.
But that's the only thing I ever thought. Like, why don't they just shoot those guys? Because those guys are, even in this scene, it shows them tripping over the other stormtroopers. Just shoot those guys that are in the hole constantly. Shoot them in the face, shoot them in the face, shoot them in the face. Take their weapons. You know what I'm saying?
Thermal
detonators. Yeah, they would have to blow that shit up to, like, get through there and blow up their own men.
Yeah.
When I watched it now, I'm into a point where I do try to watch for flaws or little things, but I never pick up flaws.
It's one of those things that we did with, like Beverly Hills Cop 1 and 2. It's like we've seen it so much that we can see flaws in it, but it's kind of a loving thing because we have such an attention for it, and we know all of it that if we find flaws in it, it's because we care.
Well, I wasn't even going to say that I found flaws this viewing. I found things that I've never noticed before, even just small, minuscule things, like when Han and Chewbacca... Remember when Luke lands the X-Wing, and they're all coming to applaud him and shit? Like, if you watch in the background, like, Han and Chewie are already hugging, like, on that little, troop mover. I'm like, oh, I've never noticed that, because they're, like, arm in arm, like, freaking out already. It's like, oh, okay, cool. Like, small little things like that. That's why I like watching a movie like this, because I can go back and see, like, everything.
Well, also when I was watching earlier, whenever it's the beginning of the movie and they have, like, the red R2 unit come up and it explodes, they're like, hey, how about we get that one? When they show the shot of R2, it's a previous shot of when the red R2 unit is next to him and is still alive.
Yeah.
Like, it was like, oh, they saved money. They made a quick cut.
Well, there's also another editing mistake. When it shows R2-D2 on the Millennium Falcon after they escape the Death Star, it's an insert shot from the Death Star, and you can see the Death Star behind R2-D2.
Oh, nice.
So I mean, they're just small little things like that. But I mean, even for the dumb special edition changes that they've made, like there's so much good in that movie, and the excitement level and the emotion I feel like,
even
the music and all that it even trumps all those. Dumb
even
things.
the special edition version that I watched. I mean, it doesn't change anything at all. It really doesn't.
Well, the Jabba the Hutt part sucks.
Oh no! You're right. Sorry, it does change one key thing. Han shot first.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I hate that Greedo shoots at all, and I'm not going to say and make a defense for that, but if it's like you could either have Greedo shoot or take out Jabba the Hutt, and you can only have one, I'd take out Jabba the Hutt, because Jabba the Hutt seems redundant,
yeah.
If that makes sense. It's literally the same exposition mentioned 2 minutes earlier.
Yeah.
It's dumb.
Well, not only that, I remember as a kid, before I saw the special editions or whatever, the fact that the Jabba reveal in episode 6 was incredible. Wow, he's this giant slug. Like, I didn't know what he looked like. He looked amazing. The puppetry on that was phenomenal. And then you see them shoehorn him in on episode 4, and that's some of the absolute worst CGI I've seen in any film next to Lawnmower Man.
Yeah, and also when you see Han, like, when they take Han and, like, have him walk over his tail, which looks like shit. Oh, man. He jumps up in the air randomly. It was the worst keyframing I've ever seen, and I've seen some shitty keyframing.
And then he calls him a terrible human being because originally Jabba was just like a guy that looked like Hagrid from that queer ass Harry Potter series.
Yeah. I remember seeing the footage a while back, and even watching that today, I was like, he's not a human being though.
None of it makes sense. I mean,
he's a slug creature.
It's cool because we get to see Boba Fett again, like so we get to see Boba Fett in 4, 5, and 6 or whatever.
Yeah. That is one thing cool that I did see. I was like, oh yeah, Boba Fett's in part 1. Holy shit! So yeah.
Yep. Well, speaking of another shitty keyframing, when Greedo does shoot at Han in the special edition, Han's head, it's like almost like a South Park head, and they just like they cut it and it jerks sideways really quick, and then
yeah, it's man.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, those are the two changes I think that didn't need to happen at all, but I mean, overall, those are minor.
Sure, but they take a 10 of a film and make it like a 9.99.
That's true. They do that. Yeah, because I mean, you just had the original thing is just Han shooting Greedo, and then like he walks the fuck out. He throws money at the bartender and then leaves.
Yeah, instantly we know everything we need to know about the character then. But with this one, it's just like, it takes you out of the moment when you see how shitty of a job they did making it look like he dodges a laser that should be going as fast as the speed of light.
Yeah. Well, no, I remember seeing Adam Savage like actually time out like the laser blast on Star Wars, and apparently they go like 33 miles an hour or something.
Which is, for a visual aesthetic, I get it's cool or whatever, but just practically speaking, even my oldest son, he's 7 now, and we just watched it together, and he goes, Dad, how did he dodge that laser? Because in his mind, he's going, okay, this guy, a bounty hunter, sitting 3 feet away from him, somehow misses him, and then gets shot. Like, it doesn't even make sense to a 7-year-old who's pretty willing to suspend his disbelief for a lot of shit.
But light traveling at 33 miles an hour, no.
Yeah, he's just like, oh, how did he dodge that? They're so close, and this guy's a trained killer. It didn't make sense to him.
Midichlorians, that's what it is. Midichlorians, that's what it is. That's exactly what it is.
Another very small complaint I have, but I accepted it as a kid, but watching it as an adult, it goes from the Death Star exploding to Luke getting out of the X-Wing and people cheering to like jumping to a ceremony really fast, and it's just kind of a weird ending to like this film that's been building up and kind of playing on motifs, and then all of a sudden just like, oh, really quick, here's a ceremony where they get medals at the end.
How would you end it?
Knowing what I know now, or thinking that it would only be a one film kind of movie?
One film kind of movie.
Maybe almost take a hybrid between episode 4 and how they ended 6. They blew up the Death Star, They get back and celebrate, and then you have Obi-Wan Kenobi as a Force ghost standing there smiling while everyone hugs the end. Instead of, like I said, just a jump to a random, very fast-paced medal ceremony.
I would go the other route where they're like, they're there, they're kind of like, oh, the Republic's dead, and all of a sudden they get a call, a transmission. It's like, oh, the Republic's, attacking another rebel base, and it's like, well, get back in the ship and let's go again, and it's just like they fly off, like, end.
Well, that's why I asked if we're gonna count it as like a standalone film, or if I knew just have them blow up the Death Star and then flying, and then just show Vader in his cockpit looking pissed, and then like, oh shit, he's still around. They didn't beat everyone, and then end the film.
Yeah. Well, I would definitely do it the open-ended way, where it's just like, not even if there's going to be a part 2, it's just like, well, they're going to keep fighting. This is not over, kind of thing.
Fair. Yeah. No, that's not a bad idea at all.
Yeah.
I love the ending. I think it's one of the best parts of the movie, because you need a payoff for everything they went through. You need to see. It's like a payoff for Han Solo going from a smuggler to a selfless hero. It's like a payoff for Luke getting to achieve his dream and destiny of getting away. It's just like a nice bow on the end of it. Because, I don't think there's anything else you could do to the story. I mean, they land, they get awarded, and it's like, well, the day is saved, and you already know Vader's still out there because he gets away.
True. Very true.
Well, the rebels are this ragtag group of people that have limited resources, and they're fighting against the most devastating power in the whole universe. When did they have the fucking time or money to produce these medals for such an occasion?
Oh, wait, isn't it, well, I would think it's like Leia's planet, or she's the queen, or her family's rich or something. Maybe they had them on hand.
Like, they had those waiting around, hey, if we ever have a big victory, we're gonna give them these medals that we had especially molded for them.
Well, they do have access to money, because Han and Obi-Wan and Luke, knew Han would get paid way more when he got him to wherever they were going. So, like, I don't think they're. In the first one, obviously they are a ragtag compared to the Empire, but I don't think they're portrayed as broke.
Well, I'm just saying, whoever their accountant is shouldn't have authorized the use of money for medallions.
That's a lot of fun gold that can be sold and needed to buy more X-Wings or R2 units, or more
Diggy-Donga gas or whatever to power their rifles.
Oh, Tabana gas?
Tabana gas. Diggy-Donga gas.
The Donga is a guy from Zelda.
You make it sound like they fart in a tube or something.
They do. That's why Lando's so smooth. There you go. That's why he's rich. He's full of shit.
He sorts that space cocaine, gets all bound up, and then when it finally does see...
That's the movie I want to see. That's what I want to see. I want to see fucking Lando just be, like, pimping out and being, like, fucking Scarface of Cloud City. I want to see that movie.
That's the next young Han Solo movie.
Dude, I want to see that one. That would be awesome. Like, just do like a 70s throwback to that. Like, I would. That'd be amazing.
If Lando doesn't bust out space coke and do lines off of Chewie's ass, I'm not watching the new Han Solo movie.
Oh man, I would love that shit. I'd be like, nope, they did it. I'm there.
I'm not very interested in the young Han Solo.
I'm not either,
to be honest.
No, and from everything I've read, they're really just like it seems like they're ruining the lore of Han Solo.
They already have. With Episode 7, they already ruined the lore of Han Solo.
Yeah.
For 30 years, he was portrayed as 30 plus years. 37 years. He was always portrayed as this guy that went from scoundrel to hero, and within a stretch of one film, the first one, and then you see the character continue on that upward trend. He kind of plateaus by Return of the Jedi. He's already the hero he's going to be. And then it's like, no, he wasn't.
So
I like that because, I had a deadbeat dad, so it's interesting to me because Han Solo would not be a good dad. He is selfish. Even watching Episode 4 today, where Luke goes, take care of yourself, that's all you're good at. And I know that Han has a revelatory moment where he's like, oh, I should go help them, just because. Still, it's like you can take the girl out of the trailer park, but you can't take the trailer park out of a girl. One of those things. Like Han, he's gonna try to be good, but at the end of the day, he's gonna be a shit dad who doesn't know how to handle that kind of responsibility. And I appreciated that they went that route. I know a lot of people didn't, and I definitely get where they're coming from. But for me, as the child, as the Kylo Ren in that equation, I understand it.
Well, I don't have any kind of anything to relate to. I just, as a character, he already grew. Like, he went through the shit. Even by Return of the Jedi, you know, he just reaffirmed that he was like this new guy.
Yeah. When they were,
I don't want to speak. I don't want to speak for anyone. It's going to be dangerous. Blah blah blah. He's already putting other people ahead of himself.
Because when he's on Hoth, like, he goes out and looks for Luke. Like, he actively does that, and when he finds him, he's like, "I'm gonna cut open this animal, put you inside, and drag you the fuck back. We're doing this." You know.
Listen, they killed his character development. There's just so much.
Okay. Where should he have been in Part 7 to you? Where should he have been?
Either not in the movie, like, they could have said he died in between, and I would have been like, well, that sucks, but he's dead. Or he should have been, like, with Princess Leia the whole time, organizing an assault, and if he has to die, have him go out in the spaceship battle against the new Death Star. Like, have him get wiped out or something. Like, have him go out with the ship. You don't get to keep all the cool shit about him and get rid of him and then pass it on to
him being the guy who has to stay back and, like, push the button kind of thing.
Yeah, he's old. Just let him... You could write him out of the fucking movie. You don't have to kill him in a lame manner. And they ruined so much of that. Oh, go find our son shit. And they should have just revealed he was his son at the end of the movie and all that other crap, you know?
Right.
I mean, if he has to die, he should have went out in a blaze of glory. Because that's the character. I don't care. Oh, it's so thematic, this and that. No. Han Solo's not really... Han Solo's like an ideal character.
Should it have... Well, I mean, if he had got on a blaze of glory, should it have just been him or him and Chewie?
Him and Chewbacca should have went out together, because no matter what, those two, like, within the realm of the film, those two were always the tightest. Yeah, they were like, well, Luke's your best friend, this and that. No, him and Chewie were always the closest. They should have went out together, because Chewbacca serves no purpose. He was always Han Solo's sidekick. He was a cool alien creature, blah, blah, blah. They worked together. Chewbacca does not work as in any other fashion. He's not interesting. He doesn't speak English. Or whatever, Galactic Basic, or whatever the fuck their language is in Star Wars. My point is, you like him because of what he does with Han Solo. He's the muscle. He's like Groot, you know? He's Groot before there was a Groot.
True.
And he works like that, but Groot doesn't work on his own. Groot works with Rocket Raccoon the best. He's the one that interprets him and does this and has a history with the character, and you get invested in that. Chewbacca should have went with Han Solo. They should have went to him, the Millennium Falcon, because the Millennium Falcon, his character, those three characters should have died together if they had to go. Because Chewbacca just standing around protecting Rey or waiting for her with the ship or something dumb. The same with, like, R2-D2. They should have just wrote him out of the movie. Like, he serves no purpose. Like, a machine's going to have emotions and, like, wait for a guy to show up.
Yeah.
40 years, I don't think, like we said, going back, that there's been a film bigger than Star Wars. I don't think there's a franchise bigger than Star Wars. Maybe Harry Potter made more money or James Bond, but in terms of cultural significance and worldwide appeal, Star Wars is it. The merchandise, the pop culture references, the parodies. I mean, fucking Spaceballs, an entire movie dedicated to being a parody of a film. You have 3 really iconic Family Guy episodes. I hate them because they make fun of parts, and it's hard to watch Star Wars now and not see the parts they're making fun of. Shitty-ass robot.
The worst one is it's a trap.
What's that?
No, the worst one is the second one. Dark Side, something,
yep.
Dark Side. Fuck that and everyone who quotes it constantly, like you, Dion.
Hey, I love you. Fuck you. Yeah, that's the kind of shit that ruins... It actually hurts Star Wars for me. They're funny, some of the stuff, but
well, I mean, the robot chicken stuff I think is hilarious though. Like when Darth Vader calls the Palpatine, and he's like, "What? You're still out there? Been out for 2 weeks? You must smell like feet wrapped in leathery burnt bacon." Like that to me is hilarious.
And that's the thing with this one film, it just to this day is affecting how we make film, how we interpret film, how we enjoy film. Like it was the biggest game changer in my estimation for all of cinema.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
No argument there, man. I mean, there may have been other franchises before and after, but Star Wars just trumps everything. I don't know if it'll be like that forever, but...
I think it will. At least the original trilogy.
The original ones will always be, but I think Disney's gonna... I know you don't want to hear it, but Disney's going to oversaturate it, man. There's going to be a point where it's like, it's every year, and it loses its luster. Like, the 3 years apart was like, symbolic of how it used to be. It worked out great. You had time. No matter what came between the other Star Wars movies, you were always excited.
Yeah, because you had that countdown clock. It's like, all right, another year, another month, a couple of months, another week, another day. It's like, I gotta buy my tickets now. Like, you knew it was coming. It was gonna be epic. Now it's just like, oh, okay, another one's coming out next year. Oh, another one's coming out next year. It's like, oh, well, fuck, whatever.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah,
but no, my life is taking the path it has because of Star Wars. I'm not saying like, oh, I picked my career, or no, nothing like that. But in every part of my life, there's Star Wars. I come to my office at work, I have a stack of Star Wars books and a Star Wars poster on the wall. At home, my kids and I, if we have free time, we're watching Star Wars, we're talking about Star Wars, we're playing Star Wars. Like, I can't imagine I'm the only person. I know I'm not the only person that has a life like that that's built around this phenomenon.
Dude,
I used to be like that when I was a lot younger. I have the posters on my wall, but I mean, I hate to go back there, but ever since the newer ones come out, I just don't like the... I mean, I still like the old ones and still obviously respect them, but I don't watch them as much. I don't care as much anymore. It's like, they were great, they still are great, but as an adult, it's like, I mean, I don't have anything that's anchoring me to them. Like, you have kids, that's, it's something that you like, that they like, you have a bond. I don't have kids, I don't have to, like, watch something that they want to watch that I'll also like. It's like, if I want to pop in, Beverly Hills Cop or something, I'm going to get some enjoyment. So Star Wars is great. I still love it. I'll buy the stuff every once in a while, but I don't know. The last 5 years, it's really just dropped off for me.
Nick, you're a filmmaker and all that. How influential, and I know that Strip Club Massacre is not a space opera, but in terms of, like, what Star Wars showed you that you can do with film, has it affected you in any way?
Yeah, because I mean, it's one of those great things that it's always just like, your vision versus the resources that you're given. What is the compromise you make to put your vision on film, on screen, and how to convey the idea in the cheapest, best way possible, without overdoing your budget, like, having too many shoot days, like, over extenuating your crew, like, just how do you convey this simple idea in a way that is simple, effective, and to the point. And I think Star Wars is a good example of that, because a lot of it is dialogue. A lot of it is dialogue. And it does it very simply. Even with it just being a standalone film, it's fine. It's great, and it's
the most movie ever made.
Oh God, yeah, and I mean, just looking at it, once again, watching it today about 2 hours ago, it is complete. It is complete in every way. Instead of Clerks being a filmmaker's, guidebook, this should be, because this is a complete story in itself. You really don't have to have the other movies. This is fine, by itself.
I was thinking about this earlier today. Do you think that there are any directors in Hollywood or in the art house scene or anything who haven't seen Star Wars? Like, I find it hard to believe that we live in a time where somebody who makes film hasn't seen Star Wars. Do you think anyone exists who hasn't?
I mean, I'm sure there's younger people who haven't, who just like, oh, it's too old, or oh, I'm not really into that, who don't want to watch it or something. But I don't know. I mean, I have a lot of filmmaker friends and just friends in general, and they're all just like, yeah, they've at least seen Star Wars once. They may have not liked it, they may have not been their thing, but they've at least watched A New Hope.
I think Star Wars is kind of a thing like almost everybody has seen, kind of like The Wizard of Oz used to be.
Yeah.
It's Star Wars. It's it's on TV. It's everybody owns a copy. Like, I don't know anybody that owns movies. I mean, my aunt owns a copy of Star Wars.
Shit, man, I still got a VHS copy of Star Wars somewhere.
I got the special editions on tape. I was too young to get the original 81 release or whatever it was on VHS, and there was the 95. I know, before anybody in the comments says that, but I got into Star Wars in 1995, and I just kept renting them, and then eventually my mom bought me a copy, and we got the special editions.
Yeah, I heard about it through my mom as well, and she's like, "There's these cool space movies called Star Wars, and here they are at this video store." And I I looked at them and I asked the video store guy. It's like, all right, which one's the first one? He's like, all right, this one, then this one, then this one. I was like, all right, I'll read them all. Watched them in a day, and I was like, holy shit, this is a thing.
Dude, I had to, like I told you before, I had to wait, like I told you, I saw the first one, months and months went by, saw Empire, had to wait a week between Empire and Jedi, and man, that was like the hardest week of my life. All I could think about is, what's going to happen with Luke? The only thing I did know is that Luke wore black and had a green lightsaber because I bought the toy at a Walgreens. Other than that, I did not know how the movie was going to go. Dude, I didn't know about John.
I bothered my parents so fucking long for a $90 Darth Vader mask. And I still have that mask. It's in a box with like covered in fucking foam and bubble wrap and everything, and it leaves that box maybe like once a year.
I have never owned any kind of Star Wars wearable. The only thing I've had close to that is like toy lightsabers.
Dude, I've got a ton of those. Oh my god, I've got when the prequels came out, they re-released some the old ones, and I even have the color changing one that's Anakin's or Luke's.
Oh yeah, I know that one. Yeah, Luke.
Yeah, that one. I've got Darth Maul. I've got Yoda's. I've got Windu. What the hell's the guy's name? Dooku.
You got way too many.
Dooku. I got Dooku. I got dude.
The old limp penis one.
Yeah, I got the limp penis lightsaber.
Christopher Lee actually molded his penis for that.
That must have been the most erect he's ever been.
Yeah, ever. He was thinking about his days as Dracula.
Better than fucking that queer-ass Lord of the Rings shit he did.
Oh, God.
Dude, the only time I ever saw Lord of the Rings is my mom took me to see the first one in theaters at a bargain theater, and I fell asleep because all I could think about was going to see Star Wars Episode 2 the next day at the good movie theater. Like, seriously, like... My mom used to work Monday through Saturday. She was off every Sunday. And on Saturday night, she would take me to dinner and to a movie. And I didn't have a bunch of money back then, so she would just take me to the cheap $2 movie. So, for $5, it was $2.50 each. For $5, we're seeing a movie. Maybe we'd sneak in a snack. But I just remember she was like, "Oh, this could be fun," and we're watching it. I'm like, "This is terrible," and then I slept the whole.
Dude, I fucking hate those movies. Those movies are bullshit. And I really hope that he goes back to like those really shitty horror movies he did in the '80s.
Look, I'm never gonna get into fucking Lord of the Rings or Harry Potter. Those are just... You talked about, like, other franchises that are too nerdy. Seriously, Star Wars has, like, a cool factor about it. I don't want to say swagger, because I just hate people that use that word, but... Like, when you're holding a little fucking wooden stick and saying, like, Latin-sounding words, and then shit happens, that's kind of lame to me. But, like, when you just, like, wave your hand...
Here's my thing with magic and science fiction. Science fiction is actually based in somewhat a little bit of science, so you have, like, you have a boundary there, or at least, a way of making sense of what's going on. With fantasy, you don't. It's just like, oh, I can say some words and pour some things in a fucking boiling pot, and, shit happens. There's no, like... boundary there because you can literally do anything and turn anything into anything, and it's infuriating.
Well, the thing you brought up about real world stuff, like even the idea of the Force is not. I'm not saying it's based on real religions, but it talks about like an energy field that surrounds us, combines us, penetrates us, like that kind of stuff. There are like religions and like metaphysical beliefs that are in the real world that operate on similar levels to the Force, and it's cool, I mean. Even those stupid douche people are like, "Oh, my religion is Jedi." Like, no, it's fucking not. You're just an idiot. But like, the Force and all the stuff in the movies grounded in some kind of, I guess it's verisimilitude, which is like a phrase that they used to make the first Superman movie. It's fake, it's fantasy, but it's grounded in reality to a degree where the audience isn't too removed from it. They can still believe it if that makes sense.
Of course, yeah.
No, Star Wars is as nerdy as I get with the shit I like. And I'm not calling it nerdy, but compared to like...
Well, okay, it used to be nerdy. Now it's part of pop culture and everybody knows about it.
Well, I'm saying compared to like Star Trek or Lord of the Rings or Harry Potter, that shit's nerd. Like, that is nerd culture.
And I mean, I'm not against Harry Potter. I will watch them if they're on TV, but I'm not going to go to my way and, like, pay money to buy them or anything like that. So...
Well, again, this is why sometimes I get... Go ahead, sorry.
No, I'm just going to say, to me, it boils down to a common mantra you guys hear me bitch about a lot. It's the people I know who like those things are not the kind of people I want to be around. They all have glasses. They all smell. They all have weird body types. They don't... It's just...
Oh, you mean
I don't want to be like them because they are not.
You mean those weird people at Comic-Con? That's what you mean. Those people
never go to a fucking comic show.
Those people who will be in a sleeping bag for fucking 16 hours in line for to watch 2 minutes of the new trailer for a new Star Wars movie, and then stay there for the 3 hours of the Q&A. Those people.
Well, I just wanted to say one thing that a lot of people don't understand, and I'm not trying to sound old or act like I'm a fucking martyr, but when we were little kids, Star Wars wasn't cool, and you got shit for liking it. And I don't care, if you're an older guy that says, oh, Star Wars was always cool. No, motherfucker, you were alive when it was new and cool. The 80s really washed Star Wars away. That's the one cool thing about the Star Wars franchise. It did die, and it did come back.
Yeah. The 80s were so strong it killed Star Wars.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, every year in the 80s, you had a movie come out that could be considered the greatest of all time. The 80s was the best decade for pop culture. Oh, Dion likes to go, well, the 70s had great music. No, motherfucker, the 80s had better music. Oh, this and that. No, the 80s was such a strong decade. And then when the 90s rolled around, Star Wars kind of found its footing. After everyone had come off of that cocaine high, people were like, I'm still into Star Wars. I still love that shit. But, to be honest, you got shit for liking it in the 90s. There was a nerdy stigma.
There was, because my cousin who really loved wrestling was like, oh, you're such a fucking nerd. I was like, what? It's Star Wars, man. Look at it. Fucking light sword battles and shit? Come on.
I just remember going to school one day and it was the last day of school, and the teacher's like, you can bring a toy or whatever you want to do to keep yourself busy. You have to be here, but you don't have to do schoolwork. So I remember I took my land speeder, my Luke Skywalker, and my Obi-Wan Kenobi figure, and people were like, that's lame. How is that lame? He has a fucking lightsaber that could cut anything apart.
Yeah, there's nothing lame about Star Wars. It is badass.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I think one of the reasons, too, is that it roots itself in a little bit of our world. Because they don't talk about, when they talk about money, they say credits. Or in the first one, they just say, they don't even say they just say an amount. They don't tell you what it is in. There's little things like that keep it from being oh, in the prequels, oh, Dactarians and this and that, and we travel at this and that, and midichlorians, and they use all these, sciencey words. It's you're kind of losing what Star Wars is. Star Wars was complete space fantasy, but there were things that we all could relate to because it was out of our realm, but the people weren't out of our realm. Does that make sense? They all seem
because
Luke Skywalker seems like your brother that wants to go on a journey or something.
Yeah, because once again, the characters are simple. Everything's simple except for the outer exterior of space battles, aliens, planets, light speed travel, light swords, a fucking Vader, the Death Star. All the accessories to the story are, bigger. They're these giant futuristic things, but the basic story is just, kid gets out, kid gets caught in a military thing and has to leave the planet really quickly, and he does. So I mean, the story in itself is basic. You add these things are added to it, are just accessories to the fact.
And I think that's part of the magic, man. And it's also a right time, right place.
Oh God, yes. Oh God, yes.
Like I said, you'll never have another Star Wars for better or for worse. I don't know if that's good or bad. I don't think we need another Star Wars. That's what keeps the original one so great.
No, I mean, a movie like this, I would be maybe in 100 years we may have something that's equivalent to it, but that's a long ways away, because it's such a powerful thing that I doubt it's going to take something giant to knock it down, or at least something that's going to be equal to it at all. So,
yeah. So, is there anything else you'd like to say about Star Wars before we read some fan mail and go to bed?
No, man. I think I've said everything I can.
I think it's
the one thing I'd like to add is I wish this was episode 77, but that's not important.
I think it says something when 40 years after a film comes out, there's still action figures of the characters. A bunch of bullshitters get together and devote 3 hours to talking about it. It's a worldwide phenomenon still. I mean, that's truly a testament to the magic of that film, and I can say with certainty it made my life better, and I can guess it made a lot of other people's lives better too.
Yep.
Strengthened our friendship.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Like back when we were in college, the prequels had come out, they were done. Star Wars was done, but not to us, man. We kept going on and on about it. We would have in-depth discussions, all kinds of shit.
Yep.
It's funny to talk with about Star Wars with Dion too, because he was invested in the books. You liked the books, and I was just the movie guy.
Yeah,
so
see,
I
had nobody that nerdy around me. I never knew the books existed ever.
Well, thank God you met us.
Yes.
It has enriched your life.
Oh God, yeah.
All right, so that is episode 73 of World Class Bullshitters, and now it's time for some fan mail. So, if you can't figure this out, last week was episode 72, and goddamn, guys, 1,000 listens in the first day alone. That seriously blew my mind. I woke up, I was at Dion's last weekend, and I woke up, and holy shit, 1,000 views overnight. I was like, oh my God, something's happening with this channel. Something good. Something, I think it was due. So, okay. There are hundreds of comments. I'm not going to read them. I'm just going to pick out a few. This is my favorite one, and this is why WinWhisper0234 is Listener of the Week. You are dead right about people watching YouTube vids and pretending to be comic book fans. These are the same people who praise shit like Black Iron Girl without experiencing the goddamn awful writing. I would just like to add, and actually subtract one word from your comment where you said pretending to be comic fans, and just write pretending to be fans. Because you get so many people that, with the internet, you have access to, like, summaries of everything, and no one actually experiences shit anymore. It's like when you go to a fucking concert that doesn't blow up, and you fucking film it all on your phone instead of watching it. Like, I don't know, we live in a weird era. I think in us, in particular, are in a weird age group where we're, like, not old, but we're not as, like, stupid as the like people that are just a few years younger than us. I'm not, trying to be, like, get off my lawn old man, but there's like just a few year gap that we somehow avoided.
Well, yeah, I think it's because we grew up with dial-up internet. We have the nice computers in our pockets and the high-speed internet. Like we knew how it was to be bored and not have anything to do and not particularly have we watched TV, we read books, read comic books, we hung out with friends outside. We had the experience. Plus, we have the future. So
yeah. Let's see. Other comments. Brian Lape. I never thought I'd write this. I'm more interested in seeing Baywatch than any new DC movie.
Agreed.
Yeah, dude.
I'm going to see Baywatch this weekend, hopefully.
I'm going to see it tomorrow night with Dan. We already got plans.
I'm definitely watching it.
When are you going to see it, Nick?
I don't know. Hopefully sometime this weekend, if not sometime next week, because, this weekend's kind of full for me.
Oh, that's cool. Then, listeners, expect a quick review from Dan and I of Baywatch. Also, another Brian Lape comment. Brian, you were so close to being the Listener of the Week for this comment. It made me laugh so hard. It says, Dion, step up to the mic. Dude, we can't hear you agree with Jeff.
That's funny.
And then we got a couple of comments, people telling us about, how much they like our channel and how they found us. A lot of Star Wars, a lot of Batman v Superman reviews. I feel like a lot of people that don't listen to the podcast that subscribe to this channel found me through that fucking Captain America video. So, that's cool. Let's see. James Roa said, love your work, lads. One thing, any chance you could add some timestamps? Well, James Roa, normally I like to look at people like you and say, no, fuck off. But I'll do a timestamp for when the news ends. How's that? So the show will start, and there will be a timestamp for where the main feature starts. So that, that's a happy medium for everybody. Because I'm not going to go through and time every news segment. That just couldn't happen. That could if I hated myself.
Well, maybe if we got enough people subscribing to our Patreon, you will.
Oh, yeah. If we get enough subscribers... You know what? If we can get, I don't know, 100 $1 subscribers, I'll make sure there's a timestamp on every video.
Did that faggot call us lads?
I think he's British. So... I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. He could be a nice guy. Yeah. But by lads, if you're implying we're young little kids, no, we're not.
No, man.
We just talk about shit that's aimed for little kids that grown men
He needs to learn how to speak right and speak American.
You tell him.
Okay, here's one from Pupper. This made me laugh. Speaking of Wonder Woman, I'm sure if the film has a theme of empowered females, diversity, inclusiveness, anti-masculine fight scenes, then the social justice warriors support it financially. BRB, just gonna go masturbate to Leslie Jones. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hey,
honestly, that brings up a good point. If the SJWs, they bitch and moan, but like they do it from like the comforts of like their Facebook or Twitter or Tumblr page. Like put foot to ass, people. Put your money where your mouth is, and like support some shit. Don't just talk about it.
Don't buy another ho-ho. Get your ass to the Alamo Draft House for the all-female screening of Wonder Woman, where women can serve women.
Yeah, honestly, if you're that up and mighty about fucking Wonder Woman, go spend $20, sit in the theater, and try to enjoy it.
Now here comes a shitty comment from a douchebag named Ekane. I don't even know how to pronounce his name. Ekane Oker. He just goes, "This video is basically a couple of Disney fuckboys getting around a table. Well, the table is square, fucker. Throwing shade at DC while simultaneously masturbating to Disney products. This is old, really old, thumbed down." I did respond to this, which is rare. I said, "Guess your short attention span never got to the part where we were critical of Disney and Star Wars." So, Ekin Okere, or whatever your dumb name is, people like you are the worst because all you want to bitch about stuff that it's not the way you want it, but if you paid attention longer, it is. So, your comment was a waste of time. And then Kendo Slice, one of my favorite listeners, goes, "They regularly shit all over Disney. You're obviously either new or stupid or both."
Yay.
Joseph Dooley asks if we're interested in Dunkirk. I personally won't see it, but if the other guys do, we can make a video about it.
Is that the one, the World War II movie directed by Christopher Nolan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I might check that out.
That's where I'm at. I like Nolan, but I don't like war movies like that. So,
well, I'm interested to see his take because I've seen Spielberg. I've seen what the fuck his name is, the guy who does the Transformer movies. I've seen his take on it, and
oh god, Pearl Harbor. We watched that in school.
Yeah, he's done that, and there's a lot of, and you have Band of Brothers as well, which is a whole like mini series of that. So I want to see what his take is on this. I'm kind of interested.
Which Band of Brothers did you watch? The Pacific one or the regular?
All of them.
You're the motherfucker that goes to the half price bookstore and buys the Band of Brothers box set. And you're like, oh, this is a great deal.
No, I watched them. Like I watched them all for school. Like I watched all of them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. The one time I was trying to make a joke about you, and I failed miserably.
Yeah, like I watched all of them.
Now here's another great comment from Terry B01. "I'm so glad I found you guys. But it's not the praise that I'm looking for from this guy. This is the comment. This is why I like the comment so much. You point out shit like Hydra being Nazis. Got into a long argument with some dumbasses over on the Comics Explains video, ironic, over them being Nazis. They couldn't get away from the kayfabe, and they said it was. So, and he goes, thanks for taking my question."
Okay.
Oh. It's okay. So I'm just saying, like, he finally understands, like, he is happy that we're acknowledging that Hydra is based on Nazis, and that we both have frustrations with the people that are like, they're not Nazis.
Yeah, it is what it is, man.
Queen Sheena thanks us for making her Viewer of the Week. You are welcome. Great comments. Mike Hutchinson says the only Justice League he cares about is the cartoon. True Baller says, I think Wonder Woman will do just enough to keep DC afloat, but the Justice League will be the final nail in the coffin. That douchebag... Do you want me to read the asshole comment and not give him his just due?
Read it so we can just talk shit about him.
Okay, he says, you are anti-feminist. That is true. Anti-SJW. Yes. Anti-conspiracy theory.
False.
Makes no sense.
Illuminati. I say it every fucking episode.
I hope you fall into a black hole and die. Anti-sentient / anti-emotion.
What the fuck is that?
I don't know what that means, so this guy's probably just trolling.
I think he was, because as it goes on, he just keeps like saying like outrageous things that like a person with a brain wouldn't say.
Yeah. Well, he's also been blocked from the channel, and I reported him because he promotes death to Americans. So fuck you. His page says death to Americans.
But you know what?
So
he does sound like an actual liberal.
God damn it. God damn it.
Like, I'll always say, I'm not a patriot, but don't fucking shit on my country because you're some asshole.
Yep. Yeah, I hope the FBI is all up in your ass tomorrow.
It's funny, though. Kendo Slice went to bat for us and started talking shit to this guy. Thanks, Kendo Slice. Slice this motherfucker up. Oh, SoCal Rice King still listens to our show. All right. That guy was an old school listener. I thought he got bored with us like most people.
You know, I saw another comment, I don't know if it was on that video or a different one, where somebody asked where in the world Not Your Father's Quitters challenge went.
Yeah. Fuck. It's so weird that we're not seeing the same names anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, Brian Lape and Augs for President and Kendo Slice, those guys love
Well, I mean, I hope these
Dark
guys...
Knight and...
Well, I mean, if the old listeners are still listening, please put a comment down below so we know you're still alive at least. Please.
They have straight white
we're worried about you, okay?
So to be fair, straight white Christian male became Todd Howard. So, Todd Howard, if you're out there... I'm a little sad. Luke, our buddy Luke, that we always would say, hey, Luke, to... just bitched and wrote a bunch of douchey comments, so sorry, Luke. I'm not going to read them, because you don't shit on Yondu like that, man.
No, fuck you for shitting on Yondu. Fuck you.
And all I can do is bitch about, oh, you didn't like Chappelle's... Look, Luke. I almost called him motherfucker. Look, Luke, we don't agree with you. You listen to the show, and that's great, because you can have differing opinions. So, whatever. The one thing I am pissed off that the listeners aren't doing, they're not asking us any questions. We could have, like, a great section of the show about them if they would ask questions. But... no one asks questions. But anyway, I'm glad they're here. I'd rather have comments than nothing. But I would like some questions, people. Because that way you can ask us whatever you want, and we'll have a nice little segment at the end of the show.
You know what's even better than them asking questions and leaving comments? That's donating to our Patreon. Now, Jeff...
goddamn right.
No, I'll save you the sales pitch and just say, give us your fucking money.
Amen to that. And, it'll be cool, like you said, though, earlier. This is, like, your way of sticking it to entertainment companies. Because, have you ever been in a comment section on, like, IGN or something that's actually not a douchey website, and you're like, Jesus Christ, these people all seem so angry and hateful towards, like, an announcement. It's not because those people are angry and hateful, it's because these announcements are fucking stupid. You know? Like, oh, a Scarface remake. Fucking stupid idea. Oh, we're doing an all-female version of Ghostbusters. Fucking stupid idea. And it, like, these things have to flop for these people to get a message. So, like, when you help the voice like this grow, you can help, like, preemptively kill dumb shit and set up better entertainment because
what this is, here's how I see the channel here. Our channel is like a lightning rod for intelligent people who like entertainment the way it should be. And I'm not saying that to be superfluous or hyperbolic, but genuinely, I think that it takes a certain level of intelligence and tact to understand that it's okay to like masculine things. It's okay to like your women a certain way. It's okay to like certain movies for certain things. And when you have the rest of a society or culture or the internet at large telling you that you should feel bad for liking the things you do, that's a problem. And I think that's why I'm especially drawn to this channel. That's why I devote a few hours each week to coming in and joining with Jeff and Nick and Dion and the other guys, is because it's a worthwhile cause. Entertainment is a huge part of my life. It always has been. And when I'm being told that I'm a sexist or a racist or whatever because I like things a certain way, that hurts. So to have a community like this where we can have a voice and say, fuck you, I'm not a sexist, I'm not a racist, or even if I am, that's not why your shit sucks. Your shit sucks because it sucks. I think that's a really important thing to have, and I think we are doing really good things. I think the numbers, as they keep growing, are showing that people have the same thoughts as all you listeners out there, and if we can remain a community that keeps growing and moving forward, we can actually make a change.
Oh, definitely. Because we're never going to go away. I mean, even if, for some reason YouTube says, oh, we're going to delete your channel, well, we'll have Google Play and iTunes and Podbean, and hopefully
Podbean. We're already on Podbean.
And hopefully our own site, and where you can have, all kinds of stuff going on with that. And it'll just be, for you guys to come and talk about what you want to talk about, or have us talk about what you want us to talk about, and all that stuff. I mean, even then, I don't think we like things that are masculine or feminine, depending on that. I think we just like good things. We just like things that, have story and have depth and have, various layers to the characters or whatever we like. That's what it is. They're not one-dimensional. They're not just like throwaway things. They're things that have lasted the test of time and that mean the world to us, that we grew up with, that have shaped who we are as people.
And for me, the purpose of this channel is like a pushback against, like, the way the internet reports against entertainment, reports entertainment, because they're all, like, here's the thing. Don't trust big critics and these big channels that make money, because they want to get into movies. They want to get into Hollywood and all this other shit. So they'll kiss a studio's ass. They don't want to piss somebody off. We'll call it like we see it. All right? If it's shit, it's shit. I'm not going to sit here and kiss Warner Brothers' ass and say, oh, it's such a brave decision to do this with Wonder Woman and blah, 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 all to, like, promote an agenda. No, fuck those people. I don't have anything to lose or gain by shitting on these studios. I just give you what I think, and that's why this shit was created, because I can't stand a fake-ass channel like Screen Junkies or Chris Stuckman or fucking Schmoes Knows. All these motherfuckers that put themselves out there as, oh, I'm an expert, I'm a pop culture fan. No, they get these people on there that fit into the fucking pegs they need. Oh, we're diverse. Oh, we got a woman. Oh, this. Oh, that. It's like, no, you're fucking fake and disingenuous. You're not an expert on anything. You're not a source, but so many people are duped into it because they have this, like, shiny production. But if you really pay attention to a Screen Junkies video, it's dumb shit. And, like, Watch Mojo, it's BuzzFeed, the channel. It's stupid. There's so much stupidity out there. You know, help us change that. Be a part of why it changes. You don't like how movies are? We don't like how movies are. Let's change that shit, alright?
Well, yeah, this is also another reason why I read Dread Central as opposed to Bloody Disgusting, because Dread Central is still independently owned. Bloody Disgusting is owned by Platinum Dunes.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah, Bloody Disgusting is owned by Platinum Dunes, which means that anytime they do a horror remake, guess where it gets blasted to? Bloody Disgusting.
Right, another point, we're not doing this channel, I know we're promoting Patreon, but we're not actually doing this to make money for ourselves. No one on here actually makes money for it. When the money does come in from things like Incarnate Studios or ad revenue, Jeff takes that and he reinvests it in a better microphone, and better software equipment, and resources that are going to keep help spreading the message to more people, so more people can join together and make the change that we all want and know that entertainment needs. So I'm adverse to donating to shit. I'm always like, oh, they're trying to make a dollar, but I can tell you sincerely, I don't make a dime from it. Nick doesn't make a dime from it. Jeff doesn't make a dime from it. When he does get money, it's reinvested in helping the channel grow. This isn't a cash grab. This isn't like a Screen Junkies or something else where they're doing production value so they can make money and not have to actually do anything. This is a group of guys that have jobs outside together that have a passion, and that passion is entertainment, and that passion is you.
That's well said. That's why you're a writer, man. The email is nothing really. Just a couple tweets here and there. It's funny that our fans tried to do a fan podcast. I feel bad for them. And their technology crapped out on them. So
yeah, apparently Brandley's hard drives have crapped out, and he's doing recovery on them right now. So good luck to you, dude.
Well, Brian, I actually paid a ninja to ruin your shit. So.
Oh God, a ninja? Why not a hacker?
Have you ever met a fucking ninja? They can do everything. Dude.
That's true.
It's a ninja hacker.
Shit!
It's Angelina Jolie, circa 1995.
When she was sexy, about to say.
Oh God, she looks like a fucking bag of bones.
I can't believe, like, if you look at the poster for Wanted, like, she's got her skinny, like, bone arm there. It's like, why did you allow that? Why is it a thing that happened?
Hey, we got a big follower on Twitter now. A guy named Murray Newlands. He contributes to Forbes magazine, Entrepreneur, and Stuff magazine. Cool.
Well, I'll make sure to retweet all this stuff then.
Thank you, Murray. I'm glad you like our channel. Cool. Somebody big follows us on Twitter. All right. Nick, get on that shit.
Yes, I will, sir.
Tweet him the hand job that Dion has.
A digital hand job.
That should be for the $1,000 Patreon subscriber, a digital hand job. Shit, for $1,000, I'll drive Dion to your house and he'll jerk you off and we'll leave. I'll bring you a t-shirt.
You're just waiting outside, like, smoking a cigarette. He comes out, he's like, all right, I'm done. You just throw them a shirt. It's like, all right, have fun, guy. And just speed off.
Yeah. He's just laying there like, it was so good. And Dion's like, yeah, that's why I got a baby. And just leaves.
Oh, God.
All right, so you guys have anything else you'd like to add about the greatest franchise and one of the most important movies of all time, Star Wars?
Nope.
I think everything that needs to be said has been said.
If you haven't seen Star Wars, who the fuck are you, and why the fuck are you here? Like, most people that subscribe to this channel found us because of Star Wars, so if you're listening to this like, I like these guys, what's this Star Wars movie? Well, go down to your local video store and rent it. And if not, just go watch it online for fucking free, alright? They made billions of dollars. Just go watch the fucking thing. Alright, I've been your host, Jeff Hicks.
I've been your friendly neighborhood Samoan.
And my penis is chafed.
May the Force be with you.